Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Fly to deep right field. Back goes Lucas at the wall. Goodbye. Third home run of the game for the Mariners, blasting their way through game two. They lead it 9-3. Freeman up high, fly ball to right. It is deep. Back on it, Churio. And Freddie Freeman sends one out of here. A rainmaker to right field. And the Dodgers strike first. Robinson off the right side, breaks free. Bijan Robinson spinning down the sideline, still going. Can they catch him? They cannot. Touchdown, Falcons, 81 yards.
Oh, this is good. Okay. It's way better than when I was in Carolina and I was on the hot seat. I mean, and again, but nothing has happened. Like, people are like, nothing has happened. Like, a job's over. Just in fairness, and this is about our players. Like, this is because our players are so good. But like, you guys think when we were 5-3 my first year, do you think any schools called me then? We were 5-1 last year. Do you think anyone called me then? Yeah, this is part of the deal. Like, I'm the Huskers coach. Like, this is a great job. Like, next, you know what I'm saying? I'm not frustrated. Now, I'm worried about Minnesota. And so, but this is a good thing. It just hasn't maybe happened here in a while, but it's going to happen. And it's like the people are going to want to hire Dana, and people are going to want to hire, like, they wanted to hire Tony White last year. So just, it's all good stuff, It's all good stuff.
Good morning. Welcome in Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centrist Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. What's up, DB?
It's all good stuff.
It's all good stuff. Hey, it's better than the alternative.
Yeah.
Nobody was calling him 2 years ago.
He's something else.
Nobody's calling him Carolina.
He's going to make his point.
How we doing this morning, DB?
We're good, man. We're good. It's another one of those deals. It's like everything else, life, coaching, being in, spousal relationships, parenting. It's all about communication.
Yeah.
Communication and ownership. I mean, people, it's just one of those things where people are going to, whatever it is they think,
that's what they'll hear.
It's going to be how they process the information. So, I mean, this is just going to be one of those deals that's, it could take a while.
Yeah, I was thinking yesterday, because obviously a lot of people are talking about, like, oh, well, he didn't say this and he did say this and whatever. And there was a part of me that started to wonder, like, there's nothing he could have said that would have mattered to people that think one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
Like, short of just being like, yeah, I actually already accepted the job, bye. Like, that's the only definitive thing we would have believed.
Even if he says, and Shane, I don't know what's wrong with getting the link, but it's fine. I think to myself, there's just things you do and there's things you don't do. And I think for whatever it is that we wanted him to say yesterday, I think what he did say is getting the desired outcome he wants. So whatever fruit that bears remains to be seen.
Yeah.
But he didn't get up there yesterday and not know what he was going to say.
Yeah, it's not like he didn't know the question was coming.
So
right? Like,
I mean,
it's not like he got up there and he's like, Sam, I can't believe you're asking me about this.
We can speculate and analyze it all we want to, but he got the desired outcome he wanted. So that part, we'll see what fruit it bears.
Because I mean, honestly, he could have gone up there and just said, "There's no way I'm ever taking any other job ever."
Nobody ever says that.
And even the ones that do,
people that do, they end up leaving,
right?
And then they end up being vilified.
That's my point, right?
Nobody's gonna say that,
right? And even if you do, again, most of those guys end up leaving. So, like, literally nothing he could have said yesterday would have really moved the needle for anyone that hadn't already made up their minds.
Yeah. Right.
Like, and so we're just sitting here and, you parse through everything. And obviously I think one thing and a lot of other people think other things. But I also I thought it was really a really interesting exercise in the way people process information. Because depending on who you are and what you thought, the amount of time he spent talking about Penn State was either 10 seconds or 10 minutes. And I was like, I don't did you guys actually listen? Like, people were just freaking out because they go, oh, he just talked about how much he loved Penn State forever. And I was like, that was maybe a minute?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe a minute of the entire thing.
Well, I think a lot of that gets painted. I mean, what was on ESPN like 30 minutes after the press conference?
Like fails to squelch the.
Yeah, it was Feinbaum and Heather
When you got
Dinich.
Peter Nakos doing his thing.
Yeah. So I mean, whatever it is that whatever he wanted is what happened. I mean, it is what it is.
Did you get what you wanted out of the Dodgers last night? A little bullpen?
Yeah, I mean, Trannon is. It's just gonna be like that.
Yeah.
I remember, Shane. Remember when we had him on? We used to get these offers when I was doing the CWS, and we would always get to talk to guys.
Yeah.
They'd just be solicited. And he was just coming back off of UCL surgery, so this was years ago. And I think at that time was he a national? Maybe Shane. There's no way he remembers, but
it was a minute ago. So,
excuse me, he was a national. So, that's how long ago that was. But, I mean, this is how this series is going to go. I mean, they're going to test the Dodgers' mettle because the Brewers just aren't going to go.
Yeah, I mean, the Brewers are.
And they play – I mean, I was listening to some radio hits from Dave Roberts pre this series, and he was talking about his appreciation for Milwaukee. And, you know, they play the way – they're a team that played in a way that gave him an opportunity to play in Major League Baseball, you know, scrappy, undersized, not this, not that. And so he made it this whole bit about contrasting styles. And he said, you know, I think that's just it's kind of like what we're just talking about with receiving the information. He said it's kind of just the perception. We hit a little bit. We can run a little bit. We play good defense. I mean, people think it's about this and that, but this is actually kind of who we are.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's gonna be a fantastic series. I don't know if Milwaukee can score enough.
Yeah,
but their bullpen will keep them in it, and the Dodgers may not. So we'll see.
Yeah, it does make for a super interesting series. Are you guys cool on Dave Roberts again?
Well, you know, it's the love affair.
Yeah,
he doesn't bother me. Dave Roberts is basically my Mike Tomlin, where he's a benchmark of his own success.
Yeah.
And so there'll be those times where people want more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm cool with it. You know me,
he seems like a good temperament for that team.
I'm not they need the right kind of guy in that clubhouse.
Yeah.
But they don't have a lot of, I mean, the biggest personality they have is a guy that doesn't communicate all that well.
Yeah.
So, they don't have that clubhouse for all intents and purposes
seems pretty clean.
Pretty dialed. I mean, when Freddie and Mookie are your guys and they play baseball and it's buoyed by Kershaw, you're probably got to have a decent culture.
Well, Mookie likes to stay dialed.
Yeah. He's clutch too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough when you got to walk Ohtani to get the bets, right? So
it's probably not your favorite.
It's tough. It's just it's hard. And you know, they play a certain way. They haven't committed themselves to, you know, the swinging and missing and living with the home. Like they play a good brand of baseball.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun series. We'll talk a little bit more baseball later on with Steve Gardner about from USA Today and get his takes. Obviously, Mariners up 2-0.
Yeah, they are. That is definitely a team of destiny.
Yeah,
they just play good baseball.
Yeah,
it's a gutty bunch, and those arms are starting to come through for them.
It's given sort of like 15 Royals vibes.
Yeah,
where they're just dancing through the raindrops constantly.
I don't know, man. They hit bombs though.
They do.
That is not very. 15
no,
Royals.
I just mean the drama.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not a station to station baseball
They're
team.
cool with swinging and missing and collecting a bunch of runs in a long time. They
hammered them yesterday.
Yeah, they did. It's weird. The Jays went from oh my gosh, they're in great position to oh boy. We're going back to this hornet's nest without a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
a great sport. It is absolutely a great sport.
Playoff baseball is incredible.
Yeah.
Like it is. It's. I also forgot, since the Red Sox hadn't been in a playoff series since 2021, I forgot how stressful it is.
Oh, you think that's a drought?
I mean, when's the last time the Dodgers missed the playoffs?
You remind me of the people I was talking to yesterday. Just is that the barometer, or is that the one that best suits the discussion?
No, for what the Red Sox have been 4 years as a drought.
Okay.
Like for most of my adult life, they've been in the playoffs more often than not.
Yeah.
So it's 4 years.
I don't know. I just was curious. Is it the same team that you were whining about in the first 2 months?
Oh yeah, I still don't love them, but I'm glad they made the playoffs. I don't love how they're constructed. I love the Red Sox.
Oh boy.
I also, I'm trying to think. I think it is the longest drought since I've been a Red Sox fan.
Maybe. I mean, maybe.
Because I think I started in '99 when they got Pedro.
Yeah.
I don't think they've missed 4 in a row since then.
The big Pedro.
Yeah.
Pedro's funny.
Yeah, it's 13 to 17. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, coming up on the show today, I mentioned we got Steve Gardner at what time do we have? 9:40?
Yeah. I don't know. Are we taking breaks?
We'll take breaks whenever you want.
Well, you don't want to do that. You got, hey, much like Coach, be careful what you say. 'Cause we'll make it happen.
Like that, like, ugh.
Yeah.
Coming up at 8 o'clock, we got Brett Ciancia from Pick 6 Previews at 9. We will talk to our Tuesday regular, Mike Schaefer from Husker 24/7. Then 9:30, we'll talk to Steve Gardner from USA Today, talk a little baseball here. But I don't know if this is okay with you. I actually wanted to talk a little bit about actual football games that have been played.
Yeah.
If that's cool.
I mean, sure. Are we going to do that today?
I mean, I think we should. We didn't get to a lot of the Maryland game yesterday for, various reasons.
Oh, Maryland, that is so yesterday.
I mean, it's like 3 days ago.
So yesterday.
It does feel, I mean, with the short week, though, it does actually sort of.
Yeah, you just didn't have a ton of time.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround.
You don't. You've got a short week, and Minnesota got the late slate game at home.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't play well against Purdue, so I'm prepared for all the narratives to happen. Is it going to be the short week? Is Nebraska distracted?
When's the last time they won in Minnesota?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is we don't have to wait very long.
That is the good thing,
right?
This isn't like primetime Saturday night. We get this one done early.
Yep, done, and out of the way early. We'll be just fine.
No, I was looking at, I was going through my rewatch, and then I was going through like some PFF grades and stuff. And so personally, I thought this was the best game the offensive line had played so far.
Mm-hmm.
And especially run blocking. Obviously, EJ had a lot to do with that, but I thought they did a great job with EJ. So I'm looking at the some of the PFF grades on Nebraska's offensive line, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this is one of those where we go, hey, PFF, I think you might have missed this one, because their run blocking grades are awful.
Yeah,
just terrible. I'm like, did you? You saw the same game we saw, right?
It's just not making a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just going down the list here.
For instance, what was Gatula? I thought he played pretty well.
Gatula was a 61.6 run grade.
Yeah.
And he was only a 63.3 pass grade.
Tough out here.
It is tough out here, They loved Corcoran. They thought Corcoran played great in his in terms of pass blocking on his 18 snaps. He was only a 58.1. There was the only guy that got a positive run block grade was Henry Lutovsky. The only guy on the offensive line.
They had, the guard center guard, they had their hands full.
They did.
Maryland.
It was kind of.
I found myself just kind of watching that matchup for a while during the broadcast.
Just right in the center of the line.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because I think all the narratives coming in were about the ends.
Yeah.
Right.
They neutralized them pretty good.
I mean, one sack, right?
Yeah.
Like that. And
I think it was late.
Yeah, I think it was.
Third or fourth quarter.
Yeah, I believe that's right. It was second half for sure. And so I'm looking at these and I go, okay,
Mathis had the deflection. No, Stewart had the deflection early.
Yes,
it was. I mean, they just went at him.
They did I thought a phenomenal job. But I did sit there. And I'm just like, okay, what am I like? I'm a novice offensive line watcher, right? And I go, okay, I see very large holes on the offensive line. Am I just assuming that means they're playing well? Or does that, is there a version of that where they're not playing well, but the holes still exist? I guess that's my question.
I guess I'd have to dive into their grading metrics. You subscribe, right? I'd have to kind of look through their.
Yeah. But I mean, grades aside, is there a version of a game where it plays out? Because obviously we think Maryland's defensive line is pretty good, right?
Well, they had been.
Right. So up to that point. So is there a version of Nebraska opens those types of holes without the offensive line playing particularly well? Like, is that even a thing that exists?
No.
Okay. That's mostly what I was wondering.
I don't think so.
Because there's sometimes where you're like, oh, hey, they're getting home on the pass rush or something. You're like, the offensive line's actually still playing pretty well. Was there a guy that you thought played offensively or defensively that you thought played like, hey, this guy played out of his mind? I'm curious what they graded him.
Ooh, out of their mind?
Not just on the offensive line, anywhere.
I mean, outside of EJ, probably not. Defensively, it was a little hit and miss for me.
Yeah. EJ is the highest graded offensive player, so that makes plenty of sense. I think you might be surprised with the second highest, which is also kind of one of those like, what? I'm not sure what these grades are.
Defense or offense?
Offense. I was pretty stunned by.
God, I wanted to say Lindenmeyer, but you wouldn't have been stunned.
No, he was third, and I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Lindenmeyer played great. Evans is fourth, so they thought he played pretty well.
Yeah, the center guard thing was fascinating.
Hunter was fifth. He had a nice game.
Who was second?
Dylan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The more you know.
I was like, that's a little caught me off guard a little bit.
The more you know. Well, that's interesting.
On defense, we could do anybody, but I was mostly looking at starters. Was there a guy that you're like, oh man, he played pretty well? I know you said it was hit and miss for you.
Not particularly. Maybe Marshall.
He was.
I liked the way Marshall was playing.
Fifth.
I thought for the most part he tackled well.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of liked Marshall.
He was fifth overall. He was the second starter in terms of grading.
Okay, so that fit my
guy. So that's pretty good. Yeah, that's in the neighborhood what you're talking about. It was kind of funny. So while you're thinking about it, a guy that I thought played better last week, but was graded pretty lowly or pretty low. Shavers.
Yeah.
Great. I thought he was not as good this week, although he had some plays again.
I thought the fans were a little down on Shavers a little bit this week.
So you know what it is? I can almost always tell when there's like a bad replay. So on the first touchdown where Maryland breaks it to the outside, he gets sucked in to the middle and looks like he loses the eyes for a second, and then he's chasing. You can tell when there's a bad replay, like that will make people think, oh, he had a bad game.
Interesting.
I think
that was not my main takeaway from that play. I kind of broke that one down real time.
What was your main takeaway from that play?
Number one, you took some horrific angles.
Yes.
But two, you've got to take it on at the point of attack. So you have to narrow his alleyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
you thought McCullough got too wide?
So he gets a base. He gets what, to me, it looks like he's getting ready to get based. He probably sees high hat. Mm-hmm. So he's thinking pass rush. What happened was
high hat is him standing tall. So he's okay.
So so for me, I think, is he stepping to you or is he stepping away from you?
Yeah.
Is he giving you a pass set? Because there's only three things offensive linemen can do, and our outsides have to read it, and I coach it. So, I mean, we try. It's hard. Don't get me wrong.
So if he says hi hat, step back, he thinks pass rush. He's trying to get around him.
Yeah. So
he's coming at him.
So he'd have to discern between is he coming to me or is it pass pro?
So what's the third thing?
He can down block.
So that's like coming inside the line.
So you can step away from me. You can step to me. You can give a pass read.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So I think with what he saw, I think he's got to get into him, right? So instead of getting vertical, because getting vertical, he created a natural run.
He needs to set the edge.
Or, I mean, yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. Just let me finish here for a second. If he gets vertical, he creates a natural run seam because they don't have to block you. You just run yourself out of the play, which makes the corner awful short, the edge. Because if you disappear, you only have to get to the guard's width. So it's a very short corner.
Okay.
So I think he's got to get into him. Now, if he got a pass read and they're in drops, that's something altogether different. But everybody else came down. Guard came down. center block back. So I don't know if he sees that or he's just getting vertical to be getting vertical. So that opened, which lengthens your inside backers runs. Because as he gets vertical, here comes that natural run seam. Nebraska wanted to spill that, which means you don't want any immediate vertical run fits.
Sure.
So backers got a little longer ways to go inside to get – they're coming inside out now. And safety's got a longer way to go because he's got to come from – you're letting him get to the edge quicker.
Right.
The quicker you let me get to that door, the further you have to run.
Right. To get
me.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yep, that makes sense.
So I want that to have to take longer. It should have to go out around.
And that's the whole point of a
McCullough.
spill, right? Is you're just trying to give your
it's like water running off the table.
Yeah.
Right? You want it to hit the table and have to run off the edges.
Yeah.
The quicker that water hits the floor, the more trouble you're in.
Yeah.
The quicker the water hits the floor, that's a direct run.
That's
a
the
run
seam.
lane. That's
Yeah.
the seam. He got one too quick. So the angles were bad. The tackling was bad. But I think it starts with run pass recognition. I'd just like to know what McCullough
What he saw.
Yeah, if he'd have come to the bench and he's like, man, Coach B, like he gave me a pass set. Okay. Not much I can do about that.
Yeah. If you think you saw, or if you did in fact see.
Yeah. Now everybody else got to clean it up.
Sure.
And you've got to play better than that on the second and third levels. But it starts with how McCullough, what he saw, in my opinion. Because if in fact he reads run, he's got to squeeze.
Yeah.
He's got to get down and get flat and make it go around.
Well, especially if you're spilling, right? You want to leave as little space as possible.
And you want to shorten the next most inside guy's run.
Right.
Right. I don't want you to have to run very far.
Yeah. So like for instance, if it's, let's say it's McCullough, Shavers, and then I don't know who the safety was on that one.
I think it was Guthrie.
Guthrie. Okay. Yeah. So you got McCullough, Shavers, Guthrie. That's kind of your three primary defenders on each level.
Yeah.
So McCullough needs to stay.
Guthrie should fit outside of McCullough. Shavers fits inside. So
Shavers kind of splits whatever gap there has to. Whatever gap there is.
He's got to go first. If Rex gets there before Shavers on an inside run fit, Shavers shouldn't be playing.
Gotcha.
I literally just had this conversation. We do walkthroughs on Monday, and there's a couple things that prep likes to do, and it's very particular, and we're going to play it a certain way. And I said to player X, I said, hey, if he fits this before you do, you're not playing. Okay, you can be slow to go because this is where we want it to hit.
Yeah,
we good?
Yeah,
and they say yes or no, right? Then we'll do it again. We'll look at it again against a different front. Okay. Exact same concepts. I said to this other player, hey, now listen, you're not going to get there before him. You have got to be disciplined. Play it vertical and not at an angle. If you come at a 45, it will get outside of you. Okay? Play it vertical. Trust this guy fitting inside of you. We'll handle our business inside.
Is that almost, I know a couple weeks ago you and MRI were talking about, so I think this is typically closer to line of scrimmage, but is that almost like a surf technique where you're like?
So we would like to try to teach. We would like to try to teach that
because like he's surfing and then he bends once he sees where he goes.
We don't have enough time to teach it yet. We tried.
Is that the right terminology on a safety still?
Yeah.
Okay.
It starts with your interior, right? You want one guy for two gaps.
Yeah.
So he's reading kind of the neck. If it's kind of like give keep, it takes tremendous amount of discipline.
Sure.
Right? To not jump on dive.
And just get downhill too quick.
And to be seeing what if quarterback gives or keeps. You're in essence, you always want 5 on dive regardless.
Yeah.
Or inside run. Right? So we always say 5 to dive, 5 to dive, 5 to dive.
So basically tackle, you want 5.
Yeah. Your 2 insides and your 3 linemen responsible for inside run. Then you have your quarterback players, belly 2, I got cute, whatever your rules are.
Yeah. And that's usually a second level guy.
Yeah, whatever your rules are. And then your safeties or your adjusters make you right. So on that run, they got to clean it up on the back end. Shaver's fit was widened. I don't know if he got a run or a pass read, though. That would actually be a really good play to kind of break down.
Yeah.
But I do think it starts with you have to ask Tassan what he saw. What Nebraska started to do kind of later is they had some guys that would just get to the mesh,
Mm.
right? Where I don't know. I couldn't tell if they were an inside or an outside run player. Their aim point
Was the mesh.
was the mesh.
So they weren't even reading who's got the ball or this is my guy. Like I've got quarterback, you've got running back. They're just saying like, hey, get the point.
Get to the mesh.
Mm.
Yep.
So when I look at that play and I go, hey, I think Schaefer's got caught inside. He may have actually been where he thought he was supposed to be, but McCullough was too wide.
Yeah, and the play
got too vertical.
Yeah,
so it looked like
the play got too far away from him.
Mm.
That's a long way for an inside to run with a short corner.
Yes.
You're just letting my guy sprint to the sidelines.
Right. And then he's gone. And then it looks like he's
that's
late
a hard,
getting,
yeah, that's a hard. That's why you got to 100%.
That makes sense.
That's exactly why you have to know. It starts with McCullough. It's easy to point fingers at everybody else, but I would just like to know. And Deshaun, because it was tricky.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's to the open side with a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
We work, if we call Burke Brown right now.
Yeah.
And I'd say, hey, Burke, what gives you the most fits?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to say tackle to me.
Mm.
Because when they come to you right now, it's rare that offenses do that.
Yeah.
They either fold where tackle comes down and guard comes out,
mm-hmm.
which we work all the time. I don't know why people
like a puller guard.
Yeah, guard just does like a little short set pull, tackle goes down because it's just better natural run angles than a big guy coming out to try to get an adjuster in space. You know, we're playing a team this week. We played them last week. I told you I loved our game plan, right? We were very, very, very specific on how we wanted to play. We weren't going to let Elkhorn South make us wrong.
Yeah.
Right. We were going to play it a certain way, and they were going to have to do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a similar concept. You know, we'll tinker with our fronts, but it's very specific, and you have to rep it over and over and over again. But when an outside linebacker or a pass rusher sees a tackle with no tight end and no near back, it's on him in a hurry if it's run game.
So he has to make a decision really fast.
On him in a hurry. That's why playing that position is incredibly difficult because you have to be able to rush the passer sometimes, take on linemen, and occasionally, like you saw against Maryland, he's in pass coverage. Right? So you want kind of a hybrid guy where you don't have to situationally do it. You know, Quentin Warren is really good at that.
Yeah.
You know, he can play in our under front. We can put him as our fourth D lineman. He can play off ball, and he's good in pass coverage. Like you want more of those guys, right? But situation. That's why McCullough had to embrace a little bit of the weight gain.
Sure, because you're not taking on a tackle at the weight he came in at. I mean,
no,
because he came in at like 230, 220. Maybe.
Yeah. So like those little games within the game, it's always interesting to watch because we always want to assess blame, and a lot of times we don't know. I was talking to a very experienced offensive lineman. He gets paid to play, and he gets very upset when people critique the offensive line without knowing blocking schemes. I mean, he's just losing his mind yesterday. And he's like, and the fan base. And I'm just like, I'm not even trying to talk him off the ledge. He makes a lot of money to do what he does. But I'm just saying to him, it's like, I'm just telling you, it's like the easiest thing to see. So we can just say, ooh, that tackle.
Yeah, if a guy
gets
beat.
Or you know what I mean? It's like, I'm watching some of these duo blocks, and I'm watching Lindemeyer and Harburg and Gatula and either Corcoran or Pritchett just work these guys on the edge. And I'm like, that is really, really good. But nobody's going to pay attention, right? Everybody was in love with Emmett's effort on the long run, and it was sensational.
Which was great, yeah.
But the two initial down blocks and puller kick was beautiful. It was like he was running down the hallway.
Yeah.
And then we saw safety from Maryland take an angle that it frustrates Nebraska fans when we take them. I'm just telling you, when you're playing inside out like that as a safety coming from the third level, it's hard.
Yeah.
Now, good ones, they make those plays,
Yeah.
right? He's got to use the sideline as his friend. That thing's got to go for about a 6-yard gain. He's got to get EJ to the ground. What you can't do is let him get between you and the sidelines out the back door, right? But the execution up front was out. I mean, it's just, you just see right tackle just down. They penned, pull, kick, hallway. Just split that thing. It was I mean, it was a thing of beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And, it doesn't – we'll talk about the run, but I think I tweeted right away. I said, if you pin, I'll pull.
Yeah, you did.
Because just watching it real time,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even watch the handoffs, although I did kind of like what Nebraska's doing now with the running back deal.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned yesterday with EJ kind of being
giving
like
himself
getting
a
downhill.
two-way go.
Yeah.
Did you hear the broadcasters during the Atlanta game last night? It was very innocuous and it was quick, so you may not have heard it. But they were talking about how Bijan Robinson likes the pistol as opposed to offset because
he gets downhill
and he gets a two-way go right away.
Which is what you were talking about earlier in the year, that you didn't love the offset.
The inside zone stuff is always kind of this cross-face sweeping action. I don't always want my first steps to be lateral.
Sideways,
right? Because insides know that too. We read that, right? And we read guards, and some people do, which is why some people false pull. Right? I was terrified that was going to give us fits against Elkhorn South.
Yeah.
They got away from it because they got behind early, so it helped. But, there's counter-punching and punching that happens all the time in games like this. It's just we pick the stuff that we can see the easiest because it's quick.
Yeah. Right? Well, and you're right. Like, if we don't know what the blocking scheme is, it's hard to evaluate at a realistic level, right?
Yeah, we spent 6 minutes in our Zoom on Sunday asking ourselves, is prep going to block us like blank?
And you just don't know.
We just don't know. So what do we have to do? We don't have to, but we do
try and prepare for everything.
We draw it up 3 different ways.
Yeah. So,
because it's like, hey, if they watched us last week, they'll do this.
Right.
If they want to just do what they do, they'll do this. If it were me, I would do this.
Yeah. And those are 3 different things.
Yeah. So that's what we do. And it's what allows us to kind of be able to adjust. That's why I love Saturdays and Sundays watching the matchups, because that's all those guys get to do, man. Like, it would be a ton of fun or a headache, right? Because sometimes you're not as good as you think you are.
Yeah.
And guys you're coaching against are just way better. But
and sometimes people can't get out of their own heads, right? Like, once they get an idea, they can't be like, well, what if they do this? And then what? Because it'd be really easy.
You know what I thought last night?
Yeah.
Who in the world didn't know what Washington was going to do on that 3rd and 1?
Yeah. Yeah.
You think the Bears didn't know?
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about getting down the mesh. And then it's an oh poop moment with what's going on with the weather, because you see what's going to happen. And it's like they know it too. It's like, but then if you don't do it, you know what your fan base is going to say? Why did you just do?
Yeah.
So that's always
you get the Marshawn Lynch in the Super Bowl. Just hand it to Marshawn.
That's always the game. I love it. It's absolutely fascinating. What Maryland was doing with those little under routes, those little delay drags, with Nebraska playing their coverage, that was always going to be there if you got time. It just was.
Yeah.
I remember I was pulling my hair out 2 years ago at a 7-on-7 because Millard South kept doing it to us. And it's 7-on-7, and we play an odd front, so we have to lose a guy.
Yeah.
Like, so we have to like pretend blitz or whatever. And I'm like, well, in our defense, he'd be sitting on that drag.
Yeah.
But you don't have it. And I mean, Marion, I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
Just delay.
Good football player.
Just drag. I mean, just play catch, man.
Yeah.
It's like with no pressure and you can see clearly. And Nebraska wasn't really getting the kind of pressure on Washington they wanted. So he had time to go from basically bottom of the numbers or hash
all
across the field.
Yeah.
Can I you just had to be patient enough to take the 4 yards at a time. Now, Nebraska could sit in zone and let him come all the way across and have corners sitting.
Yeah.
Now, they started to jump it a little bit late. They made some adjustments. But early on, I mean, it was just going to be like, if this is what you're going to give us, and I'm sure Nebraska's saying to themselves, if you're going to make a living doing this, go ahead, because we're going to be there against everything else.
Basically what Cincinnati did in Nebraska, right?
Yeah.
Just like, hey, maybe not the same exact concept, but like, hey,
make you play left-handed.
Yeah, just be like, hey, we will give you 4 to 6 yard completions the entire night.
Yeah,
good luck.
It took Nebraska a little bit of time since they were playing man early.
Yeah,
to get into their run fits because they would get motion and get out leveraged.
Yeah,
it was happening Like you could see it happening real time.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska just had to decide if they wanted to trail motion or roll to it.
Mm.
Like, do you want to
just roll a guy down?
Yeah, just exchange.
Yeah,
right. And I'll come down, you take my spot, as opposed to you chasing across my face. I'm not a big chase guy, but
because it feels like you're behind the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it does have its advantages too. So if your team understands leverage, like leveraging the ball and not the block, you're afforded some more luxuries.
Yeah.
But the younger you are, the typically you don't understand that. And Nebraska, even as a college team that works it a ton, got out leveraged a few times.
What did Nebraska run more zone against Maryland than we'd seen?
The concepts kind of. I wouldn't call it true zone.
Okay.
Playing quarters, they would mango some stuff, or they would pass some stuff off. So in the screen game, I think they would take who came to them.
So it's almost like a matchup?
Yeah.
Okay.
They would just match it.
Yeah.
And because there was so much quick game going out on the perimeter.
They didn't want to chase.
And and you don't.
Especially in quick game, if you're chasing, you really are behind.
Yeah. So, yes and no to that.
Is there, sorry, these might be really dumb questions, but is there a man defense, or is that basically what rolling is when you're just like, hey, we're playing man? Because a lot of motion is just like, hey, we want to see if they're in man or zone, right? Is like, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I would just be like, hey, don't move, just like match them up with whoever ends up.
Yeah, it can look like man and not. I mean, a lot of times that's what quarters is.
Like, I would try and make it look like zone, so they
quarters at some point turns into man.
Yeah, right.
So there's ways to do it. Like what I'm not. Yes, you can. I was just going to talk about our specifics. I'll talk general. Yeah. There are ways to pass off coverage and still stay in man. There are teams that we play a fair amount that kind of know how we want to play things.
Yeah.
So we always have to figure out, well, this is what they think we're going to do.
So the trade-off there is making sure I have the guy matched up on the player I want versus not showing them what I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, that's the game on whether you want to do that or not.
It was arguably the number one thing that kept us in the state finals last year. We just did a lot of things out of
your our habits.
Yeah, but we had
your
9 days to prepare.
Yeah.
So for us, that's an eternity.
Sure.
So it worked for a while.
Yeah. Second question is, so going back to the McCullough thing on whether he saw hi-hat or not, do offenses ever
make it look the same?
Yeah, give you I like, that's a screen, right? Basically is where he's giving you pass rush.
The better coached you are up front, the more it looks the same.
Okay.
Listen to what I'm telling you. There are teams we play where it is almost impossible to tell, and they know it's by design. Their OCs and O-line will say it will look like blank, and which is also why it's hard to play against teams that aren't as well coached, because they don't go by the same rules.
Gotcha.
So I told you sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes the better coached you are, the easier it is.
Because you know how a well-coached team would operate.
Yeah.
Versus if you're
when they see down block, they're going to squeeze. When they see puller, they're going to sometimes you just know.
Yeah.
Now teams, they'll wrinkle you up a little bit, but usually the better coached you are, you're basing. This is just me. Other people may disagree that coach. Usually, the better your coordinator and head coaches you're going against, the preparation is cleaner. The adjustments
are harder,
and the games are harder.
That makes sense. Because you kind of
that's the trade-off.
You're all starting from a base level of understanding.
That's the trade-off.
That makes sense.
Which is, I for some reason, Nebraska has got to take a look at their second quarters. Anecdotally, somebody looked this up. I probably should, because it's in stat broadcast. It doesn't from Michigan to Michigan State to who they just played, Maryland. Has Nebraska had the ball more than 5 minutes in a second quarter?
Ooh, I don't know about time of possession. I'd have to get into that a little bit deeper.
It doesn't seem like they have the ball very much in the second quarter.
They didn't have. So I know against Michigan State they didn't at all.
That was in the fours, probably.
Yeah, maybe. I think it was.
I
thought it was.
Can one of you guys or gals do me a solid? and look that up?
Yeah, I thought it was sub-4 against Michigan State. They didn't have the ball at all.
Yeah,
against Michigan State.
I want to get to. I want to take a quick break and
Yeah.
get to a couple of the comments about what Coach Rhule is doing versus the preparation for Minnesota, and ask you a question. And don't look.
Okay, I'll stay on my
Since
screen.
you have Minnesota colors on. What do you think?
I do have Minnesota colors on.
What do you
don't I?
think
Shoot.
Drake Lindsey's passing total is over under for this game?
Oh,
Just think about that for a second.
I will think about that.
Yeah.
That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live. We'll be back.
Imagine your first dream home and the feeling of walking inside for the first time. With Centrist Federal Credit Union's First Time Home Buyers program, you are at the doorstep of bringing your vision to life. Welcome home. From your neighborhood mortgage experts, Centrist Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
All right, who is your favorite Husker volleyball player of all time?
I like Sarah Pavin.
Nice, okay.
I like Jordan Larson.
The Governor, one of my favorites, absolutely.
I think Lauren Stivrins is mine.
Lawrence Stivrins, okay, a little bit more recent, great player, yeah.
That's who I was going to say.
You stole it. Any others?
I mean, Jordan Larson.
Jordan, the Governor. Who doesn't love the Governor? Oh, she is really the go.
I like Nick Hames.
Nice, that's a really good one. Nick Ames, a lot of fire on that one.
Yeah, well, I love Penn State. Met my wife there. It's my alma mater. Fan since I was born. I think, probably had a Penn State shirt when I was born. I love Pat Kraft. And really sad to see Coach Franklin go. You know, when you think about what he did for my alma mater, the program was in peril, right? I mean, the players, if people remember, like the historic sanctions, you could transfer out, you could do whatever you want. Bill O'Brien comes in, stabilizes it for 2 years. James takes over a program in disarray and gives stability, excellence, and to see videos of people like yelling at his kids, and I just don't understand why in our country now coaches are villains. Like, you know how hard I worked in Carolina and the things that were said to me, or you know how hard I work here and some of the things that are said. Our coaches work here, how hard Sat worked last year. So I'm just really sad about that part of it.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Well, I think I said it. Maybe you guys, I can't remember what day I said, but coming out of that last game, we went back and looked at Michigan State, went back and looked at the yards per carry, and it was like really good. We just didn't run it a ton. And then we came out in this game and we knew how good both edge rushers were and number 10, the 3 technique was. And we were like, hey, we're going to have to try to have these really physical runs to slow down the pass rush. They're great players. And so I thought we did that. We got in rhythm and I thought Emmett he got more opportunities and then he just got going. And then, the back-to-back 80-plus yard drives at the end of the game. And we hurt ourselves in the one drive with 2 2nd and longs, and we're 2nd and 14. And Emmett catches a screen and makes a bunch of guys miss. So just elite play from him. I just think the more times he got, the more locked in he'll be. And he'll be our guest game captain this week as we go back to his hometown. So excited for him.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Shane, that's his fault, isn't it?
That one's not my fault. I waited on that one.
I just pushed the wrong button.
Okay, thank you.
I mean,
I waited on that one. I didn't feel like I jumped early. That's all I was saying. I was trying to stay in my stance. I didn't want to try and jump early. I was locked in.
I want that to be your fault so bad.
You always want it to be my fault.
Because you're mean to him.
No, I'm not. Shane and I are great.
I'm trying to guess when you're gonna ramp the music there, because I know you want to hit that certain beat.
Yeah, there. I try and hit the kind of the downbeat, and I want.
And I was excited. I was like, I have it on this one.
I'm excited.
Shut up.
And then I just hit the wrong button.
No, Shane, I appreciate you making accountability cool again. I appreciate that.
Wow, subtle, not subtle.
What did you wanted to ask me about Drake Lindsey?
Yeah, just what do you think, like against Nebraska? What do you think the passing total is?
So you told me in the break. Full disclosure, he's at just over 1,200 yards passing through 6 games.
No, 1,283, 1,284,
so
somewhere around.
That's 210 yards per game, basically. So I'm going to assume against Nebraska, whose pass defense, despite some people's consternations last week, is still very, very good. I'm going to say his over-under is the number 157.5 is coming to me. How'd I do?
Awful.
Okay.
It's higher.
Really?
It's 220.
No way.
Yeah.
So they think Nebraska's going to be up early.
Maybe they think that he's just going to be pass happy. Drake Lindsey's total passing yardage total is 220 yards.
That's absurd.
It seems high, doesn't it?
I got to do a little deep dive here because
the percentage of the time they throw the ball though, right?
58. Yeah.
Okay.
You said it yesterday.
Okay.
I didn't have that off the top of my head. That's from you. But he's still if they're throwing 58% of the time and he's still only got 1,280 through 6 games, that means he's not very effective. Because that is, it's 212, 213 a game, basically.
Here's the other thing, and which is why, Shane, I told you yesterday I wanted to talk to Burns. Now I got to wait for him to do his thing today.
He's only okay. So he went over.
You're going to be more. I know why you're going to say what you're going to say.
In order, he goes 290 against Buffalo. I don't think that's probably useful.
Okay.
He goes 139 against Northwestern State, but they were up big.
He didn't play. Yeah.
So whatever. 205 against Cal, 27-14 loss. So that one's probably useful to look at.
Because you figure they're playing from behind. Playing
a power conference opponent. Rutgers, he goes 324, which their pass defense has been terrible, so I don't think that's useful. He goes 94 yards against Ohio State.
Which is what everybody's doing.
Yep. And then he goes 232 against Purdue. So they basically think Nebraska and Purdue's pass defense are the same. That's what I'm learning here. I don't think that's accurate.
Do you see did you see the line move?
Yeah, what's it all the way up to now? It's
so some say 9.5, some say 9.
Somebody told me 9.5 yesterday.
So I looked, yesterday, and so currently I'm sitting at 8.5 minus 112.
Yeah, I've got it at 8.5 as well. I did hear 9.5 yesterday. So that thing started at 5.5, right?
Yeah.
So that number's going up.
So I'm trying to figure out what happened because the total's still only 46.5.
Yeah. So at an 8.5 point spread, a 46.5 point total gives you 12. What are we saying here? Like
28-20.
Yeah, basically 27-20 in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
One of those two. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. On the road, an extra field goal in the course of like 2 days.
And again, and a place you
haven't played well.
You don't play very well.
Nebraska's win percentage on this one's 75, which in comparison, I think Michigan State was about 86 when they closed.
Yeah.
If you're going by the ESPN metrics, 220.
220.
That seems aggressive, considering one person has broken 105 on them this year. Granted, that was last week, but one guy all year has broken 105 yards passing.
Yeah,
and that's Malik Washington. Are we saying?
I have a question though, because like real time.
Yeah.
Did you think Malik Washington was better or worse than you thought after that game?
I thought he was a little better.
Huh. I just didn't get that.
So
I just didn't get that.
I thought he was more patient on the underneath stuff than I thought he was going to be. Like I thought he did a pretty good job of taking what was there.
I mean, that was a lot of it. Anytime he had to make a legit throw, he kind of didn't.
So there were
at least that's how I looked at it. And I know he's going to be pretty good because his poise is outstanding.
There were a couple throws that he made that I was like, holy crap.
The out route, from hash to the sideline. That's a big boy throw.
And then the one late on 3rd and 24 for 20 yards where Nwaneri is bearing down on him and he fits it over the safety. It's like that's one of the best. Like I don't know how
those were the two big boy throws.
Yeah.
I still want to know what he saw because sometimes
that was. I mean, that had to be. Hey, it's 3rd and 24. If it gets picked off, it doesn't matter.
It's ill-advised. Oh, because it wasn't early.
It's a terrible decision. It's a great throw.
So I'm like, did he just know?
I'm guessing he saw this guy's not open. But
I mean, that's a lofter late over the middle.
Yeah, with 3 guys around him. He had a guy in front, and then he had maybe 4. He had a guy in front, 2 on the sides, and 1 behind him. Like he had to fit that thing.
The hash to the sideline.
That's an unbelievable throw.
Legit.
That's an unbelievable throw.
I mean, he basically threw that. If he's behind me, he dropped that between me and you from about a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, from how far away? Like that was a.
Yeah,
he's
got a big arm.
Yeah, like so
those first 2 quarterback runs where you're like, oh, here we go. They're gonna QB run game.
Honestly, so I was going to ask you this because
ask me what
I was talking about the run game for Maryland because I was looking at like all week and looking through their games again through the course of the season.
Do you know Benny? We got to the stadium and this dude was rewatching Washington. I'm like,
really?
Yeah, but you know, give him his due, man. He comes up with some things in the pregame.
Really?
And I'm like, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he watches all the goddamn time.
So I'm
like, you can turn the Washington. It's like 11 o'clock.
You gotta stay dialed.
We speaking of which, boy, we were fighting over the television, what to put it on. And so, you know, I told you like cows just kind of usurp power.
Mm-hmm.
So we couldn't really figure it out. And so this is really 2025, right? Equal opportunity. We tossed the remote to Jess. And we're like, Jess, you do it.
Can you help us?
Well, nobody wanted the pressure. So she's just sitting kind of back behind us because we're along the deal. And we toss it to her. And I can't remember what I did. Oh, I'm a chronic hand washer. So I go to wash my hands because I had moved some equipment around and stuff. And I come back and she goes, just leave it on Channel 3 because we had a hard time getting it to BTN and Kyle wants it on Channel 3. And I just was like, we're going to keep this thing on UCLA, Michigan State, because we're afraid we can't get Channel 3 back. Well, of course, I didn't say any of that out loud. I just was like, yeah, okay. All right. We just let Casey usurp power.
Yeah, I feel like you guys needed to fight back on that a little bit more.
So we conceded because we had YouTube TV on our
so you
computers.
could watch whatever you wanted.
So all three of us had a different game on. It's just bonding.
I'm just saying that's one of those where
How about the three meatheads deferring to Jess with the remote?
Listen, nobody wants the responsibility.
And she couldn't care less. She's going to take the heat and give it too. She's going to be like, look, I put it on this. Like,
so you got a problem with that?
She had both of them. Both
double wielding.
I was like, wow, what is going on?
Yeah, that's
you were going to ask me about QB run game?
Well, run game in general for Maryland, because QB run game, Washington had 6. One of those is a sack, so 5 times he took off, which is half of his season total coming into the game. But in general, like, Maryland had not shown any interest in running the football at all.
Yeah.
Do you think that affected what we ended up seeing for Nebraska's run defense, where they just
got in double tights or played in 13 personnel?
Yeah, where, like, I don't want to say they weren't prepared, but, like,
so
Maryland hadn't shown they wanted to do that at all.
I don't know if this was on or off air. Maryland got in 13 personnel.
Mm-hmm.
Those tight ends were legit because they're good pass catchers too. And they tanked it right at Nebraska, and it was like 2nd and 4.
Mm-hmm.
They moved the line of scrimmage, and Pep immediately went to 3-by. He's 3 guys out, 3 in, and they were all wide receivers. Because I'm super trained just from coaching to watch personnel coming in and out. So in my head, I'm like, you just got 6 yards on first down. Why would you go back to 3 wide?
Yeah.
But it's just him and the concepts. They're just fighting themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
But right away, to your point, I felt like, oh, shoot, Nebraska's going to have to get in some 5-man.
Yeah, which they probably, I'm guessing.
I didn't know how much they had worked
Right,
on.
I'm guessing they didn't rep it a ton this week because that's not anything they'd shown at all.
I'm sure you have some big packages because you do play goal line.
Yeah, and short yardage, things like that.
But I don't know exactly how much they repped it. But they found a way to kind of turn the water off. Because I think Ray's longest run was like 30. Was it like 30 yards? 28 or 30 yards
28,
or something like that?
28.
And he rushed for 48 or 68, right?
62.
So that means the other 10 went for
34 total. 10 for 34.
Yeah, and the long run shouldn't have. I keep saying shouldn't have, but they get paid too.
Yeah.
Right? It happens. But I don't know if that was a fit issue.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a little surprised at how.
Like, they seemed to stick with it a little bit.
Yeah.
And
they did.
I wasn't ready for that.
There was more to chew clock than I felt like it was effective because they were still converting 3rd and longs.
Yeah.
I mean, Nebraska was way out of sorts and still won on the road.
Mm-hmm.
You had twice the amount of penalties you average.
Mm-hmm.
You were minus 3 in turnovers.
Yeah.
And you allowed Maryland to go 7 of 15 on 3rd down, and you were the best in the country.
Yeah. And gave up.
I mean, they were
tops.
One of the tops in the country in terms
Gave
of
up
3rd down stop rate.
Twice as many pass yards as they had in any game this year.
So, I mean, it's a tough league. They got good coaches too.
Yeah, and you mentioned, like, Pep Hamilton's one of them. Like, he's
just interesting.
Been doing this a while.
He's reluctant to, I don't know, run the ball.
Which, especially with his history and some of the, like,
I don't know. He had luck in some of those guys, man. I'm throwing that thing too.
No, I know, but I remember. Like, do you remember with Luck, like, how many, like, 2 tight end and, like, those big offensive set packages he used to run? Like, they didn't go a lot of spread with Andrew Luck. They were playing that thing pretty tight.
It was pro style.
I don't know. We'll talk to Brett Ciancia from Pick 6 Previews coming up next year on Hurrdat Sports Live.
We've invested. We have a history here of being at the forefront and investing, and I just don't want to stop that. I just want to be the absolute best at it. And so, but like, just for one thing, just as we move forward, like I said, I'm not going to talk about it very often. I'm certainly not going to talk about it like with anyone other than my wife. But Julie decides where we live, so this has been an unbelievable. Her business, she loves it. It's been an unbelievable time in our lives, and I just think we can be. I think we can be a perennial top of the country, one of the best teams in the country. Now, I told our team, like, this is just part of winning. Like I told our players, like, if you're a good player, everyone should be hitting you up to go in the portal. Do you think people are calling Ja'Cory Barney right now and saying, hey, why don't you come here and play for us? Hell yeah, they are. You know what I'm saying? Because you're winning. 2 weeks ago, I walked into the team. He'll get mad at me for saying this, but I told our team, 2 weeks ago, I walked into the team meeting before the Michigan State game, and College Game Day was on. It had College Game Day had Husker fans tired of Rhule, wish they had Cignetti, fire. So now all of a sudden 2 weeks later, people like me.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Now, the owner of Pick Six Previews, Brett Ciancia.
And a pass is picked off. Pick six. Pick six to the checkerboard end zone.
Pick Six Previews, the #1 most accurate college football preview.
Go, big man, go. It's a pick six.
Pick Six Previews with Brett Ciancia.
Pick six.
Pick Six. Give me all of it. Here is Brett Ciancia.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Brett Ciancia of Pick Six Previews. Brett, how are we doing this morning?
You guys doing great. Thanks for having me on. Congrats on another Husker win, getting to 5-1, another resilient performance there in the fourth quarter. We'll talk about it, but yeah, excited to be back on with you guys.
It's weird. They're like showing you the whole kit and caboodle early, right? It's the fighting back against a good team and a loss. It's the fighting back against a average team at home and winning. It's the fighting back against, I don't know what kind of team Maryland's going to end up being, but on the road and winning, their resolve is portable, man. And I told people, like, you can take resolve with you anywhere you go, man. It's not a bad thing to have.
Yeah, that's been a refreshing development here with Nebraska, especially third year with Matt Rhule, and you're waiting to see them take that turn the corner in close games, and they certainly are doing it this year. A lot of respect for what they've been able to pull off. Watching that last drive against Maryland, the two crazy throws that Rhule made, the off balance where he was like falling down and still completed it. Plays like that, I was thinking in my head, those used to happen to Nebraska, and you'd think, oh my gosh, here we go again. This is crazy. But now Nebraska's the one making the plays, so that's refreshing to see. And again, yeah, congrats on the 5-1 and some winnable games coming up. Let's keep it rolling.
Brett, let's stay in the Big Ten here for a second. Obviously, the headliner for me was Indiana with taking out Oregon in Autzen. That was, I don't know, for that one I was pretty shocked because in the last two games where Indiana had played opponents that were clearly superior talent-wise, that's when it sort of fell apart for him and Curt Cignetti. How much did this tell you about, I guess, how much better Indiana is from last year to this year?
Yeah, that's a great point because, against average teams and below average teams last year on their schedule, they dominated. But once they went up against a blue chipper like Ohio State and Notre Dame, they got humbled. So this was taking it to a new level. This was really one of the final stages of one of the best program rebuilds I've ever seen. I mean, think of Indiana long-term, probably the losingest program in Power 4 out there, definitely in lowest percentage and lowest number of wins. I mean, they struggled for most of our lifetimes. So to see them within a year, this wasn't a 10-year rebuild. This was within a year. He had them in the playoff. And now the second team, they look like one of the best in the country. I thought great coaching, timely defense to pick off Dante Moore twice in the fourth quarter. And they overcame a pick six in that game too. It would have been a 17-point difference in this game. So really dominant performance. And I look at them now as a national title contender. And you got to start to think of him as one of the best program rebuilders of all time, along with the Bill Snyder, Kansas State, maybe Barry Alvarez, Wisconsin, what he took over there. So it's heading into all-time territory.
Leach at Texas Tech?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in that category. Because you got to look at the context of what he took over. This is Indiana. This is, for 100 years, the punching bag of the Big Ten. And immediate, too. The thing that shocks me the most is how quick, because historically, when you talk about coaching changes, you think, okay, second-year bonus, maybe a third or fourth year. I mean, right away. And this was without the five-star recruits and cycles of recruiting like that. He coached them up right away. He found his guys and he coached them up.
Hey, let me ask you something, Brett, because you and I walked through this. This was a couple of weeks ago, and we went through the top teams, and I said, right now I would probably say Oregon. I just wish I knew a little bit more about their defense, because I didn't love Penn State's offense. I didn't love Oregon's, like their tests, right? Ohio State, I said, I love the defense. I think it's elite. We'll see if they can figure out how to score enough points. I didn't really mention Indiana. I talked about Alabama offensively. Will they get more stops defensively? And who else was in that discussion?
Alabama, Oregon.
A couple weeks ago.
So I say all that to say, Miami. I said they were the most complete.
Yeah.
Okay. So Brett, so so now I'm going to swap out Indiana for Oregon. There's still Ohio State. There's still Miami. And I forgot who I just said.
Miami, Ohio,
Alabama.
Is Alabama in that discussion? And who's the most complete team for you right now?
I want to get Texas Tech into that discussion. I think what they're doing is unbelievable.
I didn't know if you'd
there.
like their schedule.
Yeah, and the thing is, the schedule isn't as strong as some of these other. I mean, they don't have any major ranked wins, although the Utah win certainly is appreciating in value. I think Utah is one of the best top 20 teams.
Yeah, they answered the dinner bell too, didn't they?
Yeah, they came up huge late Saturday night. So, people talk about how Sam Levitt was out. Well, Sam Levitt doesn't play defense, and they put up 42 points on the Arizona State defense. But what I'll say, so Texas Tech, they have the win over Utah. That's certainly a signature win. Especially in blowout fashion, but they're dominating everybody. I mean, I know its strength of schedule isn't quite there, but the way that they're dominating the schedule, all 6 wins by 20 plus points, all 6 wins by plus 200 in yardage. The per play numbers are impressive. Just a really complete team. So I want them in that top 5 with Ohio State and Miami and Bama. And Texas A&M. I think that's where I would go right now.
So we're A&M below.
Indiana. I keep forgetting. Get Indiana in there. They deserve it. They went out
so
and earned
that's
it.
a legit 6.
That's 6 then.
Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you like A&M.
I really do. They look complete to me. Marcel Reed, that was a question coming into 2025, but he looks like Dennis Dixon out there. That's who he reminds me of, and he's really getting it done. He's got great running backs, 3 different ones scored Saturday, and then 2 great receivers that they brought from the portal with Craver and Concepcion. You got a Mike Elko defense. You got a big offensive line. All 5 starters back from last year from a good unit. So I think they're playing really good football, and I have them projected into the playoff right now.
So when you see Texas Tech and what they've been doing, I'm glad you brought them up, because I was really, really big on Utah. I still am. But I look at that and I go, okay, I saw that Texas Tech Utah game. And at the time I go, that tells me more about Utah. Does it now look to you like, hey, Utah's actually really good and Texas Tech just beat the hell out of them?
Yeah, that's what it's like to me as well. I think those are the 2 best teams in the Big 12. And then you saw one of them really pull away in the fourth quarter. Now, I will say about that game, it looks like a blowout on paper, and certainly, they deserved it in the fourth quarter, but that was 13-10 heading into the fourth. It was really a 50-50 game. Both defenses were really timely in that one. I think they had like 6 combined turnovers Texas Tech did pull away with their backup quarterback in the fourth. So credit them. But yeah, I think that's your two best teams. I think you'll see that proven out Saturday when Utah plays BYU. I know that BYU enters undefeated and Utah does have the loss, but I still think Utah's the better team. So that might have been your top two teams in the conference, and one of them beat the other by 21 points. So yeah, I'm really impressed with Texas Tech.
Brett, what do I do with Southern Cal?
Well, they earned a lot of trust back Saturday. Now, I was high on them in the preseason. I came in, had them fourth in the Big Ten, and fourth in the Big Ten would say that you're a fringe playoff team, top 15 caliber unit there. And when they lost to Illinois, they got out physical. I thought Illinois just kind of ran right at the center of that defense, and they couldn't stop them. So I was skeptical heading into Michigan, who I thought was like a better version of Illinois offensively, or just overall, just the same composition of a team. And they took it to them. You know, they looked fast Saturday night. The offense gained 7 yards per play, which might not sound incredible, but that's the most that Michigan's given up in 4 years per play. So, yeah, really impressed with USC. And now you look ahead. If they can get past Notre Dame, they might end up 10-2. I think they'll probably split with Oregon and Notre Dame and go 10-2. That puts them into the playoff.
Offensively, Michigan's been vastly different between Biff and Sharon, and it can't be that linear, but
it certainly feels that way.
It looks that way, yeah.
I hate to even ask this because it's Michigan. Do they have an identity crisis, especially now that they maybe have found a couple of wideouts? Do you have to let Underwood cook?
Yeah, it's interesting with that because against Wisconsin, I saw Donovan McCulley really separate himself as a true number one receiver on the outside. He's 6'5", made a couple of huge catches. I think one was a touchdown. So I thought, okay, now Michigan has their pure number one on the outsides. They got Justice Haynes at running back. So I thought they were actually going to take a step forward against USC. Instead, they regressed. Yeah, and I don't know if it's as simple as that, but you look at their two performances under Biff, and they're probably their two best games of the year. You think it'd be the other way around when you have an interim without your normal guy in there, but it's
and you may make the case it's the best Underwood's looked. I mean, he threw for over 2 and some change, the 2 touchdowns. He threw the errant pick, but you may make the case it's the best 2 games that Underwood has played.
So they need to go back to what worked on those 2 weeks.
And now you're without Haynes, maybe.
Yep. Potential injury there. And I saw Sharon Moore was, he's wearing a blue collar jacket at their press conference. It looks a little gimmicky to me. I don't know what's going on over there. We'll see. We'll see if he's got him motivated, but it just doesn't seem like it's moving in the right direction for Michigan.
Bro, what'd you make out of that Texas-Oklahoma game? Obviously, the rankings and where they are right now is a little bit deceiving as to who the two football teams are, but were you surprised that Oklahoma wasn't able to get anything going offensively against Texas?
Well, I think we talked about it coming in. We knew it was two of the best defenses in the country, and we knew that with Texas, you had a struggling pass game with Arch Manning coming in, and you had a injury concern with John Mateer. So we were saying low with the points, and it did end up pretty low. But I think Mateer, it's one of these things. He's a gunslinger. You live and die by that, and this time 3 picks, including the one in the red zone, right? I think it was in the end zone at the end of the first half. That was crucial because right there it's 6-3. And you have the ball last year. I think you're going to get the ball to start the second half, and you want to convert that to points, whether it's 3 or especially a touchdown, get up big. Instead, he throws that pick. That took points off the board in a really low-scoring game. Then the special teams punt return broke it open. But I think you saw two of the best defenses in the country. And Mateer, I don't know if it was because of the rushed timeline or if that's just his playing style. I think it's a little bit of both, that he's, like I said, a gunslinger, going to take some chances. But, yeah, credit Texas. They got up off the mat. They really needed that win, especially after the Florida loss.
So let me go back to the Big Ten, Brett. What's kind of your pecking order, given what's happened with – and maybe Oregon is just a blip, lost to a good team. But, boy, how Penn State has played since then gives me a little bit of the ick with Oregon. How do you slot what's going on in the Big Ten in the top 4?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think you have Ohio State as my number 1 and Indiana as my number 2, and I feel pretty strong with that. Those are the top 2 teams right now, both undefeated, both playing excellent football, both sides of the ball. So from there, yeah, I mean, you could argue USC and Oregon for that 3rd spot. I mean, I put Oregon there right now, slightly power rated above USC. I've got Oregon 8th in the country, USC 10th in the country in my numbers. And they're gonna prove that out either way. They play each other, and they have some tests coming up. From there, yeah, I mean, look at Washington and Nebraska and maybe Michigan. I know that there's some head-to-head in there. Michigan did beat Nebraska, but they come in with a lower power rating right now. So that's my top pack right there. But yeah, Ohio State, Indiana at the top, and then Oregon, USC debate for third. I think it's Oregon might be the more complete team. USC needs to improve their defense a bit more.
Brett, as you kind of look through that next section of teams after the top four in the Big Ten, is there anybody, because, there's a lot of people kind of in that 2-1 range. Is there anybody that you look at and say, hey, they could climb into that? Or is it a pretty clear cut, hey, these are the four teams, maybe three of them make the playoff, and after that, you've got this whole other middle class?
Yeah, it's a crowded field. I mean, this is just one of these super conferences. It's all the talent and all the great coaching. It's packed into here. I mean, looking at 2-1 teams, you got Oregon and USC, like I said, and then you got Washington, Nebraska, Michigan. You even look at Iowa. Illinois has 2 wins in the conference. I think they're a solid team. It's just so deep, guys. What I like so far, I really like Washington's offense. They're unbelievable to watch. Damon Williams, he put up a 400 passing yard, 100-yard rushing game.
They're getting 6 in Ann Arbor.
Oh, I love that one. That might be my favorite one on the whole board. So I can't believe that line. I have Washington favored straight up. And yeah, so Washington, I really like the offense. Defense is a little leaky at times. They're giving up some yards and points, so I want to see them improve there. But you got to love that offense. Nebraska, really resilient in fourth quarters, and they deserve a top 25 spot. Michigan, we talked about them already. And and Illinois as well. I mean, 2 losses, but to 2 really good teams, Ohio State and Indiana. So I might have avoided your question there. I'm just kind of rambling, but I think it's a really crowded field and just one of the deepest conferences.
A couple of tricky lines. One of them I know Ravi loves because it's the unranked versus ranked. The unranked team is favored. Walk me through Georgia Tech going to Duke. They're an underdog as the number 12 team in the country. Do you like Georgia Tech as a team?
Yeah, I definitely like Georgia Tech as a team. I think what Brent Key has done there is impressive. You got to remember they were coming off the flexbone option era with Paul Johnson. They hired Jeff Collins, and it just absolutely tanks. And I mean, you guys at Nebraska know it. It is hard to move away from the option system. It takes a couple years and a couple recruiting cycles. One of the hardest rebuilds to pull off. So I know it was tough for Jeff Collins. But Brent Key is now the third coach in. He's really taken it to the next level. Built a great offensive line. That's his identity, a former Georgia Tech lineman himself. Haynes King, here's another reference for you. He reminds me of Colin Klein, the way he's shouldering all these carries and trucking guys at the goal line. And,
he gets linked to a lot of coaching jobs already.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job. But no, yeah, with Haynes King, I like it. They also had a second running back emerge with Hosley this week. So you got a 1-2 punch at running back. The thing is, when you look at their resume, yes, they're undefeated. They haven't been quite tested yet. You look at it, the Clemson win has lost some luster now. Wake Forest arguably should have beaten them. There was a controversy in that game. It was an overtime win. And then Colorado, I'll give them as a quality win. But yeah, I mean, I kind of see why it's a tight spread. It's at Duke. I have Georgia Tech by 2 points. That's kind of similar to where it's at Vegas. So it makes sense.
Let me give it the other one because I still don't think people think they're very good. And I get it. They put up a valiant effort against Bama. But unless you're a fan, you probably looked at the end score and you didn't see the late cover. And like, oh, Bama beat them by double digits. Vandy favored at home. Maybe that's the new Hornets' nest in the SEC. I just think this is a game LSU can ill afford to lose for the Brian Kelly era.
Oh, yeah, this would be a terrible, terrible loss for them. I know, yeah, respect
it's only
Vandy
2.5, though. Fans, they don't care, though. It's like, it's Vandy.
No, that'd be devastating for Brian Kelly. Yeah, I'll be honest. My numbers haven't really caught up with Vanderbilt yet. I'm watching them visually. I'm impressed. They're really a crisp team. They get it done both sides of the ball. And yeah, to your point, that score was misleading with Bama. That was a late score on like a 4th down carry to put it over the top, but really a 1-score game with Alabama. If not for 2 Pavia red zone fumbles and a pick, that might have flipped the whole game. So yeah, I have LSU as a slight favorite here, and their defense is really strong. I think it's one of the best in the country. Blake Baker getting it done, but offensively, they just look broken. They're really struggling. Last week, they could have broken the game open against South Carolina. They fumbled twice at the goal line. So they need to figure it out quickly because Vanderbilt is not the old Vandy.
Brett, there are 3 top 20 matchups this weekend, all of which have a greater than touchdown spread. Which one of these is too big? Georgia, 7.5 points against Ole Miss. Alabama, 8.5 points against Tennessee. Or, where's my third one? Notre Dame, 8.5 points against USC.
Ooh.
Which one of those?
I think I'll go Georgia. Ole Miss is too high. I think that both sides are going to have some success moving the ball. I know Ole Miss just barely escaped against Washington State as a 33-point favorite, but I don't want to make excuses for them. That is quite a look-ahead spot to Georgia coming in. So I think that they're better than they showed against Washington State. And Georgia, they're lucky to have survived the Tennessee game. I don't want to say lucky. They went out and earned it, but tight wins over Tennessee. And this game against Auburn really could have flipped. Really a game of inches, guys. That fumble at the goal line by Jackson Arnold puts that thing 17-0 Auburn at halftime. And instead, Georgia finds a way to claw back in and then take advantage. That they made their third downs and Auburn couldn't do it. So credit them. But I think that's more like a field goal spread, in my opinion. That should be like a 3 or 4 point game, not what is it at 7.5. So I'll go with that one.
Maybe this is the coach bump effect. Maybe it's just the fact that the way that Kotelnicki wants to play now, I think he can with his quarterback position. Penn State getting just 3 in a tough place to play in Iowa City. Not to mention, Iowa always plays them. Even when Penn State's better than Iowa,
Right.
Iowa deals them fits in Iowa City. Were you surprised that it's just the key number?
I don't know what to make of this. It's when coaching change happens, when there's firings midseason, teams come out weird and different afterwards. I mean, a lot of times it's for the better. They play motivated for the interim. A lot of times they can catch their opponent off guard with like a scheme shift. We've seen it a couple times this year. UCLA off of their coach firing.
Although Neuheisel may be pretty good.
Yeah, he's looking like an offensive genius, but they came out, they surprised after their coaching change. Same with Arkansas last week, where they came out of their bye week and after the coaching change, they surprised Tennessee with a lot of new stuff on defense and almost upset Tennessee in Knoxville. So I think you see a team just motivated differently, maybe a scheme shift coming out of the coaching change. But Iowa's for real too. I mean, they put up 37-0 on Wisconsin. They got it done running the ball all over them.
How about that offense?
I'm just going to say avoid this game because I don't know what to think of Penn State. If they come out motivated, if they play to their talent level, like the Penn State we all thought they should be. I don't know if there was locker room stuff. It's too many unknowns for me with this one, to be honest.
I saw 3. I was floored. It just didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, Iowa's so good at home.
It doesn't even sound right.
I've got a couple guys I know that played at Penn State, and when I ask them what's it like to play at some of these Big Ten stadiums, and you think they'd give you the Ohio State or the Michigan, the big ones, they all say Iowa is the hardest place they've played. They say that the section's right up against the opposing bench.
Student section
loud.
There.
Yeah, I mean they per person definitely when you adjust for that, but it is the hardest place to play in the Big Ten for their opinion. So yeah, it's going to be a tough spot for them, really.
Brett, let me ask you kind of a strange question here. If I had given you let's say I'd given you $100 and you had to place a bet on one of these two things in 2025. Would you have placed the bet on Vandy being a favorite against LSU basically ever, or Luke Fickell would have a job longer than James Franklin?
Oh my gosh. I mean, the second one is just insane. I just can't believe it. Yeah, I would have maybe had to gone for the Vandy thing. Maybe just think that maybe Nussmeier got injured or something crazy happened. Because the Franklin example, there was just no way I thought that would happen coming in. I had him winning the whole Big Ten. It's just it is insane how quickly things shift in 15 days. I mean, they took the lead in overtime against Oregon in the whiteout, and it was looking like they were going to be number one on this all-in playoff season for them. And then 15 days later, he's fired. So that was one of the. I mean, I know that it was kind of it was building for years with them, and it wasn't just about the 3 games, but still, just seeing that headline in the middle of October. This is a guy who's been there 12 years, really helped them post-sanction. I mean, you got to remember where they were 12 years ago as a program. So I was just stunned to see that happen. So I'll give you that one. That's crazy to me.
That's right there in your wheelhouse. You already mentioned a couple of your buddies that have played at PSU. What do you think? What do they think should happen? And what kind of a job is it, in your opinion?
Yeah, well, I think it's one of the premier jobs, and premier meaning like top 10, top 15 jobs in college football. I think you have a ton of fan support out here. You have virtually the whole state behind you. I know Pittsburgh is out here, but it's really a Penn State state. You have really you can dominate the whole region in recruiting. I mean, you have all of Pennsylvania, some of that Ohio, some of that DMV, a lot of that DMV. They've had a lot of success recruiting Virginia. So I think it's a really premier job now, especially in this Big Ten big money era. I mean, all that money coming in, and they have a big alumni network, a lot of CEOs in the region that are going to donate back to Penn State. So I think it's a strong job. Now, talking to some guys around here, they all want Cignetti. It seems like one by one they reply back with Cignetti. I don't know if that's the timing of it being 24 hours after the Oregon win, or if that was really thought out. But I think Cignetti is their number one pick. There were some references for Rhule, and I think that's more just the connection thing, thinking of a Penn State alumni, Pennsylvanian, a native from the state, and then seeing his success at Nebraska. So those are the two that kept coming up. But I think Cignetti was the preferred choice, just from word of mouth and from guys not included with the program.
Let me throw a couple out. You think Pat Fitzgerald gets hired again this coaching cycle?
I think somebody should take a shot on him, especially now. I'm not fully caught up on the legal case, but my quick understanding was that he was exonerated. I think.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, if he was exonerated, then yeah, hire him back. What he did at Northwestern was unbelievable. Talking about program rebuilds, I mean that's got to be up there. So yeah, somebody should hire him. I don't know if it's going to be a big profile name like Penn State, but somebody should grab him.
I'll get you out on this, at least for me, coaching wise. Compared to Penn State, because they give me similar vibes, and don't be mad because I know Penn State's won a championship, but the expectation level, given the degree of difficulty of job, is what I'm talking about. If you're Mike Elko, would you leave A&M for Penn State?
Well, you never know a guy's personal preferences and personal dreams. I know he's from this region. He's from the Northeast, so I don't know if that's important to him. But I mean, he's at one of the premier jobs, at least money wise. You look at the resources that A&M has. They're in the SEC, which is a double-edged sword. I mean, it's the most competitive. You want to be competing with the best of the best, but it's also the highest pressure. Now, the Big Ten's right there talking best of the best. So I don't know. These coaching things are so hard to call. I have no idea what his personal preferences are if he wants to get back up here to the Northeast. But the way he's got A&M rolling, I think you want to see that out. That's just my opinion.
Brett, real quick, I'll let you out here on this. Just, did you think it was the right move to fire Franklin right now?
I don't think so. And again, not a Penn Stater, but being from the area and just being a college football, writer, I think it's a guy you deserve to give until the end of the year if you're going to move away from him. He's done so much for Penn State the last 12 years. They were in a really rough spot after the sanctions, after the scandal. Bill O'Brien was also key in that, but Franklin really took it to the next level. He had that 2016 conference championship run, was some of the best all-time moments in their program history, and then had them close in 17, had them as consistent winners, really just a consistent top 10 program in the last 5 years. So I don't know. After just two big upsets, I know that it was in a row. The consecutive nature maybe factored in, but I think you give a guy like that till the end of the year. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I know I'm not naive. I think we're in a new era now with college coaching and contracts and big money. So this might be the start of the new norm. I'm just more traditional. I think you give the guy till the end of the season, let him coach it out, have one final big game to honor him, and then move on. But I'm old fashioned, I guess.
It's Brett Ciancia, Pick Six Previews. Brett, appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, B.
That is our friend Brett Ciancia. Yeah, I just I don't know. I know all the other like narratives and stuff about Rhule and Nebraska have kind of taken over this conversation about Penn State. I just keep coming back to like why fire that guy right now? Because as Brett brought up, they were leading in overtime against Oregon. They probably would have been the number one team in the country. That was less than 3 weeks ago.
Again, I'll just say two things about that. It doesn't seem like something Pat would do.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not put it past James Franklin saying, "You know what?
I'm good.
I'm good. I'm serious."
I guess how does that work? It like to still pay him though? Like, are they just like, all right, cool? Like, you know what I mean? Or if there's boosters that don't like him, they are willing to write the check, or
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure.
Okay.
And I mean, you want to. Here's the thing, though. Like, all your goals are gone.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
So I think you start the negotiating process.
Of hey, if this happens, then
Yeah,
you're probably gone at the end of the
I
year.
think you have your lists.
Yeah.
And you're negotiating, and you make an announcement. Who knows whether it's 2 weeks or 2 months? They'll zero in. It's just weird. You were talking about like picking and choosing what we want to listen to, which is what we always do, and how to process it. Did you catch the line? I can't remember. Did he say, Shane, play clips 3 and clips 4 from Coach Rhule? This is after he talked about how much he loved Penn State and then Nebraska. There's a clip in there I'm looking for after that. Play 3 and 4 for me, please, Shane.
Staff, there's really not many things yet. I mean, what Trev started and Troy has been elite. I mean, Troy's, like I said, he's a thought leader. He's a difference maker, and the investment from everybody. The thing I've always said is, like, we have to be unabashed. We can't always worry about the optics of everything. Like, it's a really hard time in higher education. There's cuts, there's all these different things, but we're athletics here is a separate entity. Like, we're not taking money from the university. And so the schools that invest, Dan Lanning had a great quote. I mean, when Oklahoma State, he said, he said, we're investing to win. And that's just players, right? And so, there's, in a world of like $30 and $40 million rosters, which isn't going away, I'd like us to do the same thing. And there's sort of like hey, that's not really the Nebraska way. And I'd like it to be. I'd like to invest. I'd like to be at the front of everything. Like, weren't we one of the first teams to ever do training table? And weren't we one of the first teams to ever do like academic support? And weren't we one of the first teams to do AstroTurf, at the time field turf? And weren't we one of the first teams to have a jumbo board? But now, like, now we're talking about stadium, and everyone's like, oh, didn't they build the Memorial Stadium faster than they built the Capitol? Like, we've invested. We have a history here of being at the forefront and investing. And I just don't want to stop that. I just want to be the absolute best at it. And so, but like, just for one thing, just as we move forward, like I said, I'm not going to talk about it very often. I'm certainly not going to talk about it like with anyone other than my wife, but Julie decides where we live. so this has been an unbelievable, her business. She loves it. It's been an unbelievable time in our lives. And I just think we can be a perennial top of the country, one of the best teams in the country. Now, I told our team, like, this is just part of winning. Like, I tell our players, like, if you're a good player, everyone should be hitting you up to go in the portal. Do you think people are calling Ja'Cory Barney right now and saying, hey, why don't you come here and play for us? Hell yeah, they are. You know what I'm saying? Because you're winning. 2 weeks ago, I walked into the team. He'll get mad at me for saying this, but I told our team 2 weeks ago, I walked into the team meeting before the Michigan State game, and College Game Day was on. It had College Game Day had Husker fans tired of Rhule, wish they had Cignetti, fire. So now all of a sudden 2 weeks later, people like me. I just, I love my players, and I love the fans, and I love all of this. Like, this is a great place, and I just want us to be positive about this place and where we're headed. Like, are we better than where we were? I haven't done it as fast as maybe some other people do, but we've done it better than some other people have in the last 2 years too. We're in a good place. So I just want to keep rolling though. And that's why Troy's so elite.
Man, I'd be stunned. I would be stunned if the phones at 1890 and the donor offices and wherever else were just not ringing off the hook yesterday. Yeah. I would be stunned because he basically told you, hey, this is what it takes to compete at a high level, and this is what I want Nebraska to have. And listen, it's kind of funny because this is I've been thinking about this for like a week. It's sort of related to Nebraska, but mostly not. Last week the announcement came out that Stanford got like a $50 million grant or gift from one of their former football players.
From 1964.
Yeah. And he's like a hedge fund billionaire.
Yeah, everything's named after him.
Yeah, like the head coaching spot's named after him because he pays for the head coach, the whole thing, right? So, but I thought to myself, I go, what does $50 million actually buy you?
We argued over that. This was after the show.
It was, yeah.
We sat here.
It never made it on the air.
Like, are you crazy?
And then, but it's like, it sounds like that barely gets you 1 year of a roster.
Listen.
Right? I mean, 30-40, like.
I think you're as crazy then for asking a question rhetorically as you were then. I was almost mad that day. I'm like,
why?
What do you mean? What is it?
I mean, it's a good start for sure. But I mean, like, if, like,
it gets you through 2 years.
So here's my question with Stanford, though, versus Nebraska, right? My question is, like, I don't know that Stanford, like, is that
gets you through 2 years.
Sure, which is awesome. That helps.
And guess whose money that you're not spending? Your own.
Sure, and that's terrific. But here's my question. At Nebraska, I have faith that they care enough about the program that after 2 years and the $50 million is gone, they've won enough and they'll be like, yes, let's keep giving this money. At Stanford or other places, I go, okay, because this kind of goes to the whole sustainability. We brought this up when they were talking about taking on private equity, not Nebraska, but other people were talking about taking private equity.
Well,
money.
the Big Ten is.
Conference is a little safer than individual
100%.
teams. And
you know the conference is good for it.
Yes, right, yeah. So, like, that's a little different than individual teams.
I'm with you.
Individual teams, I think, are in big trouble if they start taking on private equity money.
Why do you think it is that Shane, go back to the clip, his love clip, where he talked about. Go ahead.
I'm looking forward to hear.
Well, you only have 9 to choose from.
While you're looking for that, Shane, Rico, we actually kind of put together a video real quick summarizing all of his loves for Nebraska. Can you play that right now, Rico?
Let it rip.
Because I think sometimes people didn't quite hear some of the things that were said.
Listen, I don't want to buy Rico and Shane sometime.
Mm-hmm.
I just want people to be able to think for themselves. Don't want it be what you want to happen or what you think's going to happen. Just take in the information objectively. Even I have to guard against having a good relationship with him, because it's like,
obviously you want him to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're looking for signs that he's going to stay.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not asking you guys to do anything
but you're
I'm
actually
not trying.
Acknowledging your own bias too. Where you're like, I understand this is a place where I might have a blind spot.
100%.
Right. Yeah. That's the problem, is when you don't acknowledge where your blind spots might be. Like, the reason I had, so Avery put this together, and I think
exactly.
I think
I'm with Les.
He would know.
No, you're kind of making an assumption because he's kind. Maybe he gives us everything he has. How do you know he has excess?
You want me to play the video?
Yeah, if you've got the video, can you put it up?
Don't be in my man's.
He
may be destitute and just gives us what he has.
I've heard he's done very well for himself. That's all I know. I heard it's good to be in the semen business. That's all. Cow insemination. That's what.
Wow.
That's what he does. What do you want me to do?
Shane,
his handle is Vogler Semen Center.
Shane, roll the clip. Lance, why do you keep throwing Thamel down my throat? You think Thamel knows more than I do? I don't care what Thamel thinks. Like, what is God?
Also, real
annoys the hell out of me. Like, why do I care what Thamel thinks? Thamel is to give the national narrative, Lance. Why do I care? Text or call me, just like yesterday we talked. Why should I care?
Also,
God, if you don't want the attention, then don't ask me. But if you ask me, then I'm going to give it to you.
I understand.
Shane, roll the clip.
Yeah, you got
here and wanted to live here. I love it here. To make us Big Ten champions and national champions, this place is elite. I absolutely love it here. We have the best facilities. We have elite fans. I'm really happy here. I think we can be a perennial top of the country, one of the best teams in the country. Now, I love all of this. This is a great place. I'm their coach, and I love them, and we're rolling. I'm the Huskers coach. This is a great job. I love it here. It's awesome. There's no place like Nebraska.
I just think it's funny when you put them all together, right? Because, when it's spread out over 30 minutes, right? People are like, oh, well, he didn't say that much about this, and he didn't say that much about that. When you
listen, I don't want to be accused of propaganda.
I'm just saying, when you condense it, though, I do think when you, take out some of the fluff and the questions and whatever, he did say a lot about Nebraska.
I don't like edited clips.
Okay.
I feel like I'm pulling a Kyle. Let me uncross my arms. Say it with some kindness.
Do you want me to leave it on Channel 3 or?
I don't like edited clips.
No, that's totally fine. This was for perspective, not to say, hey, this is the full context of what he said, but to like when I mentioned earlier, how there's some people felt like he talked about Penn State for 10 seconds, and some people felt like he talked about Penn State for 10 minutes. There's some people that felt like, oh, he didn't even say he liked Nebraska. And this was just kind of show like, hey, I mean, I don't know if you've seen our chat. Like people are
so there's 3 people in here that are clearly gassing the fire.
Sure.
Don't even acknowledge them. Like they're in here to incite.
Sure.
Like it's like, huh, let's see if we can get them in an uproar. Like those are people without anything else better to do. Like who does that as a quasi adult?
We don't. They might not be adults. We don't know.
Clearly,
they might not be in school. Although I don't think it's Columbus Day / Indigenous Peoples Day anymore.
Anywho.
Shane, do you have the other clip?
You want me to play the other clip you asked for?
Yeah,
please. I'm their coach, and I love them, and we're rolling. That's it. Like I'm the most with them. I'm going to be as honest as possible. So, with everything, I'm their coach. Let's rock.
Hot Danger says he's 4 years old. Avery said she put that clip together because people were saying he wasn't saying we.
No,
so she was trying to.
No. Listen, hear my heart.
Yeah.
I love it in its totality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing devil's advocate because people don't like edited clips.
I think it was a fair summation of much of the press conference.
Hey, can you let me do what I do? Like, let me cook.
Cook or crooks? What's that? You got Kyle up there.
That's my dude.
Just win, baby.
Only dude that's checked on me in the last 2 days.
Yeah?
Yeah, he knows the memorial service is coming up.
Yeah.
Saturday. I love him. He's very particular, but I love him.
Yeah, he seems like a kind man.
And he knows how to pick a meal.
What do you mean?
He was the most indifferent about where to go.
Yeah,
we sat in this goddamn Uber coming back from CQ Stadium, setting up after it took way longer than it should.
Yeah.
It's 1:00. We left at 9:30. And like, hey, where should we eat? And inevitably he's gonna say, I don't care. I don't care.
Wyatt,
he's very low maintenance with his food.
Wyatt says, don't poke the bear. Headley says, let DB cook and leave the leftovers on the counter.
Exactly. I like Headley.
I do too. I enjoy Headley.
Exactly. Do we have any leftovers on the counter? Oh, I ruined some meat on Sunday.
What'd you do?
It's a long story.
What kind was it?
I didn't smoke it right.
What kind was it?
A strip loin.
I bet you were mad about that.
I was heated. Oh, I'm not afraid to throw things away.
Yeah, that's all right. You know,
I think I had some eggs go bad.
Actually,
too.
that's not true. You're not afraid to throw things away. You do have an aversion to it.
Yeah, whatever.
Am I wrong? You hate wasting food.
Whatever. So yeah, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Okay.
Because what was my whole premise?
Mm-hmm.
We just pick and choose what we want to validate what we think. We can't just pull back and say, I just wish more people would be like, oh, okay, I could see that. Even if it's not definitive, because you really don't know.
Yeah.
You don't. Like, for all that I think I know, I don't know. Now, if you ask me, do I know more than others? I'm certain.
Sure.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? I even had to say, like, hey, man, like, I don't know. And sometimes you just have to say, I don't know. But what I will do is keep processing the information, right? I was talking to one of our buddies last night, and I was like, I don't know. You know, I may be wrong about X, Y, and Z, whatever, but this is what I think. And he's like, oh, well, you know, people are kind of painting you in a different light, like you're in the know. Or not in the know, like I'm saying for sure. I'm like, I didn't even get into it because it's over text.
Yeah.
But he knows me well enough to know, like, I'm never going to paint myself into a corner.
No.
Unless I'm in control.
Because it's not your decision that you're making. You're not going to paint yourself into that corner.
If it's me, I'll talk in extremes.
Yeah, because you'll be like, hey, Penn State or DB is not taking the Penn State head coaching job. Like, you can say that definitively.
Yeah.
You can't say Ravi's not taking the head coaching job at Penn State because you can't control my decisions.
Yeah, and you could tell me till you're blue in the face you're not taking.
Yeah, you could be like, hey, I love Omaha. My parents live here. I'm never moving from here. And you'd be like, I don't think he's going. Based on what he likes and what he values, I don't think he's going. But until that decision's made, you can't control what I do.
Yeah.
Right? Can we talk about the Penn State job outside of Rhule for a second? Because I thought
that's how I think you have to talk about it.
Because I think Brett brought up something interesting.
I think that's how you have to talk about it.
Because
if you're their AD, you have to talk about it.
This sort of you have to talk about what kind of job it is before you even put a list together, right?
Yeah,
Which I'm sure he did.
You know what I want to do? This is so childish.
What's that?
He's not going to answer me. I just want to text on and be like, hey, whose call would you pick up first, mine or Pat's? And would you say we're best friends? That's what I want to say.
Because everybody's painting the.
Would that be childish? Well, that's what he said at Big Tip. You guys got to know, like. I don't know, man. Sometimes I have to keep me from myself.
Yeah.
That's why I sit in the closet.
You also I don't know, lots of people, I don't know. That part I don't put a lot of value in. I do wonder about the job. Like the Penn State, the job, right?
I think he'd answer.
Give it a go. See what happens.
No, he'd be
mad at you.
And you know what he'd say?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to prove a point. So he won't let me.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Because then you're trying to back him into a corner. And he didn't like that either.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
So I look at it and I go, okay.
You said come out of the closet.
I let that one go.
Jeez.
Were you proud of me? I let that one go.
No.
I just sat there and I was like, you know what?
Look, what I tell you about wanting back pats for things you should be an adult. No, I'm not proud of you for not stooping.
You should be.
Yeah, you've said some things.
I have done more with less.
Yeah. So, I think you have to.
You have to figure out what job it is.
Okay, do you think I'm crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you do?
No,
I didn't even finish what
I was encouraging you to continue.
Penn State's a hard job, right?
I agree. That's one of the first
Why
things
do people keep saying it's is Penn State a top 10 job?
I did see. That's why I wanted to bring this up after we talked to Brett, because I disagree.
I'm willing to hear the discussion.
It's a top 10 brand. I don't think it's a top 10 job, and those are different things, especially in today's day and age. I think there are a handful of jobs where the brand outweighs the job itself. I think Nebraska was that way for a while.
Ask Franklin what it's like to get kids in and out of place on a visit.
If you're not taking a PJ, it's 90 minutes to an airport, right?
I mean, he's
Is that accurate?
Give or take, yeah.
They're close, right?
I'm telling you right now,
it's hard.
I'm dreading it because of this last experience.
Oh, yeah.
I can't complain because I'm not supposed to complain.
And some people had a great experience.
He had a better driver.
This is different bus.
If it's top 10,
I would like to know the logistics to get to Happy Valley right now.
So you guys charter though, so you'll be okay because you'll fly right.
I just don't know where.
You don't know where you're staying, so you might be staying outside of that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like where you're staying in Bethesda or Virginia Beach or wherever you guys were.
If it's top 10, is it lower top 10? Like 9 or 10?
I'll let him finish let you finish your bit.
My point just is I don't.
Not a bit.
Just the point is I think the brand outweighs what the job is. That's been the case at Nebraska in the past. I don't think it is anymore. I think it's the case I brought up Auburn yesterday. I think the brand and the expectations outweigh what the job is. I think that's true of Texas A&M.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Rapid fire.
Mm-hmm.
Don't look.
Okay.
Rapid fire.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Is Penn State, Shane, you can play along. You guys got to say it in unison. Is Penn State a bigger brand than Georgia?
No.
Bama?
No.
Florida?
No.
Yes. I think Penn State's a bigger brand than Florida.
Texas?
No.
USC?
No.
No.
Notre Dame?
No.
Ohio State?
No.
No.
Michigan?
No.
Oregon?
No.
No.
Oklahoma?
No.
I think those are close right now.
LSU?
No.
Texas A&M?
Yes.
It may be 10.
That's brand, though, not job.
I know.
Right?
I just said brand.
Yeah.
And
right?
you had some consternation.
Yeah. There's a couple that I think are close. But that's the point, right? So as a brand, I think you're.
I'm kind of with. I don't even know how to read this because the
Nortac.
I'm kind of with him. I think all but maybe OU. Florida, I don't know, man. You guys keep telling me what a great job Florida is. You can't talk about both sides of your mouth.
I don't think Florida's a great job either. I don't. I think Florida has its issues as a job also.
What about the fertile recruiting ground?
That's fine. Everybody recruits there. And you know where's more fun to live than Gainesville? Miami. Or anywhere else. Like, Gainesville is not a cool place to, like, I think Florida is a more challenging job than people realize.
Let's stay with Josh since Josh is hot. We just called Josh out of the bully, and he's mowing down batters.
We need to find Dan Coyote again. He's about the only guy that throws that high of a percentage.
I don't know. That's interesting. I think Justin's got there's a couple of guys that are at a high percentage.
Yeah. Dank goes hard, though.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, like he's pretty good.
Those guys are committed.
Yeah.
Miami.
I think Miami is a bigger brand than Penn State when they're good.
I would say no.
I would agree with you, Ravi.
I think that Miami's a huge brand.
It's a monster.
Miami's a national
I don't know
brand.
what happened to my TikTok.
Yeah.
But it has like 2,000 different Miami entrances.
Really?
Yeah. It's like
when Miami's cool, they're way up there. Now, I don't know if they can win a national championship because I don't trust Mario Cristobal. But, like, when they're cool.
You keep saying that, and all that dude does is continue to crank out wins.
All that dude does is twice a year blow a game that they had in the bag.
You know, so here's the thing. Do you think coaches are encouraged after what O'Brien and Franklin did?
I think after O'Brien, yes. I think that's why Franklin took the job.
They got rid of – now they changed leadership.
Yep. Here's the problem now, though, is the situation that O'Brien and Franklin inherited was very different because they're coming out of the depths of hell, basically. And honestly, not a dissimilar situation to what Rhule took over at Baylor in terms of like the
Nobody even talks about Baylor.
Yeah, and they just forget about it. They're like, oh, look, you turned it around. It's like, yeah, that was.
And you could make the case Baylor was more difficult
I think it was.
It didn't have the pedigree.
Yes, 100%. It had. You were expected to be bad at Baylor. They just had a nice little run. Penn State, I think now runs into the problem of you don't get credit for what O'Brien and Franklin did if you're looking at as a coach. You look at it and you go, they just fired a guy who was in the national semifinal last year.
Do you know what Nebraska's had to do, or Missouri, or some of these schools that have found a way to compete in the top 25 recruiting that you ordinarily wouldn't think? They have to convince recruits. It's not even so much about winning as much as it's okay if you live here.
Yeah.
We grossly undersell that.
100%. That's every time.
When you want to recruit on a national level,
you have
to convince people that this is an okay place to be when you're not playing football.
And you know why that makes Miami a better job than Florida?
I'm just saying I think we forget. I don't want to nitpick. I just want to keep it general.
I think you're right.
So when it keeps people more objective because the more finite you get, unless you're asked for an example, the more finite you get, the more people want to wiggle. Right?
They'll be like, well, what about this?
So I want to talk
broad strokes.
Broad strokes, so people have to think outside of their already preconceived notions. That's how I like to have conversations.
Okay. Yeah, so I think when you're looking at the national recruiting base, which is, I think, more and more common now, especially with the NIL money and everything, how many times, I mean, this is maybe the one thing every Nebraska coach has agreed on since the turn of the century, and that's we just have to get kids to Lincoln so they know what it is, right? We've heard every coach say that, and they're right. Once you get a kid to Lincoln, if they're not from the Midwest and they don't know, like, oh, it's a real city, once you get them there, you're like, oh, man, this place is pretty cool. There's lots of places to go. There's lots of things to do. There's real people here. This isn't a farm. Like, the problem is if you're Penn State and Happy Valley and State College or whatever, once they get to campus, does that actually change anybody's mind? Because you might think Pennsylvania is one thing. State College is not what you think of when you think of Philly and Pittsburgh.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If Nebraska was winning more, do you think the whole airport, the drive, make sure you pick them up in Omaha to Lincoln would have been such a narrative for so long?
No. Not at all.
They just would have put up with it.
Yeah, because you're like, hey, you –
and an NIL era where it's hard to keep depth. You don't think there's anything other than winning that matters?
I don't think it's the only thing that matters. I think the Omaha versus Lincoln
I hate to
thing.
ask that leading, but
matters less, because if you're winning and Nebraska's, let's say Coach Rhule gets his wish and he's getting his $30-40 million roster, right?
Yeah.
And let's say Nebraska wins 9 games this year. We're operating in optimal conditions. 9 wins, going in the right direction. You got your $30-40 million roster. At that point, I don't think it matters what airport you pick them up at. I'm not sure it matters what airport you picked them up at anyway, but I think people care less in terms of internally some of those details. Honestly, the airport thing for a long time to me felt like a majoring in the minors.
Oh, okay. Because
I thought, I don't know.
No pun intended, but I'm going to land the plane since some think it's a lot of mental gymnastics. I'm addressing all the things that Coach Rhule was trying to combat when he got here to set the job up for what it is before they won.
Yeah.
And I said, well, hey, if they ever win, he could turn into a monster because he's alleviated all the other.
Yeah, he moved all the other obstacles out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then pit that against jobs that you think he would take, alum included.
Yeah.
Like, then you have to get into his personality,
what he wants, and
right. So it's not really mental gymnastics, Lance. It's comparing apples to apples so you can have intelligent discussions and not just be able to say, well, I think, because then you get to say, well, why do you think that? And then you get to go. Like, too often we get away with either because I said so or that's just what I think. Well, sometimes you shouldn't believe everything you think. I'm just saying that. So
there are things that crop into my head that I think that I'm like, you shouldn't think that. Stop it.
Yeah.
And then I stop.
Yeah.
Or I try to. Like, that happens a lot. That's a real thing.
And if you think these aren't real conversations, they just are. It's a lot better than just he's an alum, they're friends, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's
not the case.
I also think it's incredibly lazy, because what did we think happened when
there's just more depth to him than that.
Yeah,
especially at this stage in his life. It's critical.
It sort of reminds me of this time. Well, it wasn't this time last year, but last year when Ted Carter's gone and Trev Alberts leaves, and we sit here and we go, "Oh, those are the 2 reasons he's here. Are we afraid of him leaving now?" And it's like, well, there's more depth to why he's here, what he's doing here. Yes, that may have been the reason that he got here in the first place, but that doesn't mean, to me, that's about as loose of a connection as, yes, I get that he loves Penn State. I get that he's an alum. I'm sure he appreciates that place a lot. That doesn't mean, those things do not add up to he's definitely taking that job. To me, just like Ted Carter and Trev Alberts leaving didn't add up to me that he's leaving Nebraska now. Oh, my 2 friends are gone. I'm leaving now. That's, to me, those, we're adding things up and we're saying it equals this, and we skipped a lot of variables in the equation. We're trying to make it simple addition and subtraction, and it's complex algebra, and we're skipping the variables. That's what I think.
I'm with you.
We got Mike Schaefer coming up next here on Hurrdat Sports Live. Don't forget, if you're on the roads this morning, get those seatbelts fastened and make them click. This message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. We'll be back.
Imagine your first dream home and the feeling of walking inside for the first time. With Centrist Federal Credit Union's First Time Home Buyers Program, you are at the doorstep of bringing your vision to life. Welcome home. From your neighborhood mortgage experts, Centrist Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
All right, who is your favorite Husker volleyball player of all time?
I like Sarah Pavin.
Nice, okay.
I like Jordan Larson.
The governor, one of my favorites, absolutely.
I think Lauren Stivrins is mine.
Lauren Stivrins, okay. A little bit more recent, great player, yeah.
That's who I was going to say.
You stole it. Any others?
I mean, Jordan Larson.
Jordan, the governor. Who doesn't love the governor? Oh, she is really the GOAT.
I like Nittany Lions.
Nice. That's a really good one. Nittany Lions. A lot of fire on that one.
Yeah, well, I love Penn State. Met my wife there. It's my alma mater. Fan since I was born. I think, probably had a Penn State shirt when I was born. I love Pat Kraft. And really sad to see Coach Franklin go. You know, when you think about what he did for my alma mater, you know the program was in peril, right? I mean, the players, if people remember, like the historic sanctions, you could transfer out, you could do whatever you want. Bill O'Brien comes in, stabilizes it for 2 years. James takes over a program in disarray and gives stability, excellence, and to see videos of people like yelling at his kids, and like I just don't understand why in our country, like, well, now, like, coaches are villains. Like, do you know how hard I worked in Carolina and the things that were said to me, or you know how hard I work here and some of the things that are said, our coaches work here, how hard Sat worked last year. So I'm just really sad about that part of it.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Yeah, and the short week too. No matter what you do, the travel takes a toll on you, right? And then I don't know how it was for you guys, but we got out there, and even with the police escort, it took us almost an hour to get to the airport. And then, we sat on the runway for 45 minutes, and you get home at 11:30, and then all of a sudden it's, if you're like me, like I don't go to bed till 2. I'm amped, so I'm watching the game on TV just to see how the flow of the game went. And then I'm watching the Minnesota game on TV. So you just get tired being on the road. We were there for 2 days, and then you come back and you got to go back on the road. So just a short week, but I think our guys travel really well. Our guys are really, really professional. They handle it well. We use Gridiron Air. We have a huge plane that we can, spread out in. So I'm excited about it.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DBM Ravi, Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Mike Schaefer from Husker 24/7. Schaefer, what's going on, buddy?
Not a ton. Just beautiful looking Tuesday out the window here, ready to tackle it. Have a great day.
Mike J, you're just a few years younger than me.
Just a few.
But in your illustrious baseball watching, viewing career, you ever seen an 8.62 unassisted in a baseball game?
So I didn't see it as it happened, but I saw it on Twitter, of course.
Why is that funny?
This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
I had to watch the clip like 5 times to like make it work in my head what I just saw happen. Because the first time I watched it, I was like, why is he out at home? Like, my brain is just not able to comprehend why he would be out at home. And it's like, oh, because that was the guy that was on third and should have scored the entire time. Like, oh, and then of course the other out. So I was struggling watching that. I could not imagine if you would have been in the stadium, like you don't really understand or know what exactly you're cheering for at some point. And then like I have the benefit of sitting there and watching it on my phone over and over and be like, okay, yeah, so that's why he's out here and that's why he's out there and everything
When
else.
your rules guys,
I
and
can't.
your
I can't say I've
broadcasters
ever
are
seen it.
crossing.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I'm like, and to listen to them process through it real time with a rules analyst, I was like, I think I know what happened before you guys started talking.
Now I don't.
Now I'm like, why are we going back to third? Like I got as close to my. It was like I was 6, right? I went and stood as close to my TV as I could, like it somehow was going to change the information.
Yeah.
Do you remember those days?
I do, and that's what I was basically doing with my iPhone. I had it like just right here in front of my face.
Like 862, huh?
Just your routine.
I
routine
thought
double play.
for sure it was. Oh, I'm like, if that happens in a game, there's no way the Dodgers are winning this game.
Is that like the equivalent of a pick six or something?
I was just going to ask that, but apparently you can win those now. It's fine.
Yeah.
well, was that better or what? What percentages are worse? Is it the -3 or giving up a pick 6? One's 13%, one's like 7, right? Or 8? Or does it go down 13% with a pick 6? I don't know. Some of these analytics gurus had it all mapped out. Nebraska
That's for the nerds. I just watch the games.
I believe the stat is throwing a pick 6 on the road means you only win the game 13% of the time.
Oh, that's pretty low.
On the road is part of it, but if you throw a pick 6 on the road, you lose 87% of those games.
I want to ask you something, Mike J, because you're very good at this. I love how one of my favorite things about talking to you every week is people get kind of a perception, this kind of gruff, whatever it is. But then I like talk to you like one-on-one. And I told Bruns, I go, or BC was asking what took me so long. And I was like, Schaefer and I were getting into some like good stuff. Like, you fool me with what's really in there when it's just me and you.
That's the ultimate "you're smarter than you look" comment that I just received right there.
It's like
you look like a moron. You talk kind of like an idiot, but when it's just us two and you send a text, then I think you're okay.
No, even like standing over your shoulder where you're like, would this guy go sit down? If we weren't talking about like the actual football stuff you were talking about, I probably would have went to go sit down a lot earlier a couple weeks ago, but it just kept coming. So I want to ask you this. How important, because I said after the game, I said, resolve is portable. You can take it anywhere. How much of what we saw Dylan process through do you think actually either does it change or enhance who he is? Like he went through every peak and valley in one game, similar to what we saw him go through in all 3 seasons. All 3 facets of one season last year.
Right. That's actually an interesting comparison to the season. The comparison I saw someone make, and it was really sort of funny in a way, was basically that Dylan Rhule just had his 2012 Taylor Martinez Michigan State game, like complete with the pick 6 that never should have happened, the game-winning touchdown drive, the fact that you kind of I can't speak for everybody else, but I felt like when Nebraska took over with 4 minutes left that they were going to go score. Like I had this feeling that they were going to be able to go and do it. And it's not like Dylan played great even at the end there, but he did a nice job keeping it alive, getting the ball to Lindenmeyer. He slipped on the invisible banana peel and got that ball to Isaiah Hunter. I still can't believe the throw and catch between him and Harburg. I watched that more times than I watched the Dodgers Brewers double play there, because I genuinely cannot believe that Harburg made that catch as easily as he did. Same with Lindenmeyer early in the game. Those are not easy catches draped along the sidelines there with a rifle coming at you for a football. But I thought that he was going to be able to get that done because I think he is that good. Saturday was weird. The pick 6 was just a total miscommunication between him and the receiver, right? Like that's either the wrong route or the wrong read on something. I just don't believe that Dylan intended to throw that ball where he did. Like there's something else had to happen there. The second interception is the one that I don't understand. Like, that's the one that I'm still, he said he was trying to throw it away. Like, how did he not have enough on that to get that? Like, he just leave his hand odd. But ultimately, the resolve of being able to have all of this happen all in the same game, then you put it together, you go get the win. I mean, that's, we spent all offseason talking about all that matters this year is stacking wins. And it hasn't looked pretty. And Nebraska has had to work through a lot of its own issues in all of these games. And yet here they are stacking wins. Like, that has to count for something.
Schaefer, as you, sorry, I just kept thinking about the throws that Harburg or that were made to Harburg and Lindemeyer, because as you talk about kind of going through the interceptions, because even if like on that third one, hey, I just know that was a miscommunication, or on the second one, you're like, that wasn't a bad decision. It just slipped out of my hand. I was trying to throw it out of bounds. Even with that in mind, you've thrown 3 interceptions. To throw the balls that he did to Harburg and Lindemeyer, where I don't think a window was even there.
Not in the Harburg one. They did a great job on the broadcast for once, and it's rare for me to be complimenting a broadcast that Nebraska is on. But they actually, in a game in which they did a horrible job at other times, they actually went and showed you the end zone angle of that throw, and there was nothing there. He threw that in a window that didn't exist to a converted quarterback playing tight end that made that catch and looked like an NFL veteran. He even did the thing where he's holding the ball with one hand as he's going, like you could tell he's not showing moving. The official, like, hey, there's no doubt that this was a catch. We know this is a catch. I just like, and did that win him the game? No, but man, what that told me about all parties involved on that play was more than almost anything I've seen this season. Like, that was a big league throw, an incredible catch. It kept the chains moving. And again, it all just felt like it was adding up to eventually Nebraska was going to score. I thought they would run to try to take some timeouts out of Mike Loxley's pocket, but they stuck to the air, missed on the first one, which was almost there with Lindemeyer, and then a great play for Dan Key to get the go-ahead score there.
Schaefer, I'm going to leave it to you because you've put more than a few fires out with your water with me. I found a way to make it about Coach Satterfield, the tight end player. I in my head, I'm just like, yep, that's Coach Satterfield. Damn be the throw, damn be the catch. Shout out Coach Satterfield.
I mean, I had a conversation with Satterfield. I think I've referenced this before. Last March, we were at the same place at the same time, and I was picking his brain on a few things. And I asked him about Harburg, and he said, Mike, I think this guy's going to be playing in the NFL, and his best football as a tight end won't be with us at Nebraska. It's going to be where he gets developed in the NFL. We're going to give him the people are going to see the athleticism. They're going to see the tools. They're going to be interested. He's going to have an opportunity in the league because of this move here. But the feeling that Satterfield has about what Harburg could be ultimately as a football player, it just told me that he was like super excited just to get his hands on a player like that. And obviously he worked with him as an offensive coordinator. I'm sure they have a great relationship, but there's just something that Nebraska saw there where they love that guy. I think part of it is he's a selfless teammate. You can ask him to do anything and he's going to do it. And I think the other part of it is that he's just one of these guys who's just sort of blessed in a way that few people are, where he can kind of do anything. I mean, we're talking about someone who's in a dunk contest. He has a size 18 shoe. He's one of the fastest players
willing to do anything too.
Well,
that's part of it.
He's that personality, and I knew that when he was in high school, when he was the holder for their football team on field goals, and then he's I think, I don't know if he was a punter too, but he's doing other things on special teams. He's, and like people make jokes about this, but he's one of the guys getting the equipment on and off the bus when they first show up there. Like, he is just that guy. And when people would talk about, oh, Nebraska fans only love him because he's a walk-on or he's a local kid, and no, I think they love him because he's that kind of person. You can't have an entire team of that, but when you have enough of those guys and he can just seamlessly slide into a role, and he's not going to be a star, he's not going to win any awards for what he's doing this year, but man, I'm betting on that guy in every phase of life. Like, that's how I feel about Heinrich Harburg.
Yeah, he is a consummate competitor, and you could say the same thing. Those character traits, a lot of them go to Lindemeyer too, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just
it's Nebraska's tight end room. They lost a guy to the NFL, and they got better at tight end.
Yeah,
they lost a guy to the NFL, and they are better.
Top guys. So they lost a guy to the NFL. They lost a guy to Texas A&M, undefeated number 5 in the country, had a game-winning catch against Notre Dame, and they lost a guy to injury for the entire season, and they still have these two guys that we're fawning over.
See, Schaefer, you did make it about, you did indulge me. You made it about Satterfield. Thank you.
I wonder if that's
I'm not. Coach. I like Marcus Satterfield. I tried to explain this to people.
I love him.
He's an incredibly likable guy. Do I want him calling plays? Probably not. But I don't think there's any problem with him being on your football staff. You're getting a good coach.
It was great, man. He was looking for, I don't know if he wanted a coffee. He wanted something during halftime, and he was looking at his clock. He knew he was down to the wire, and they were swapping stuff out. And I was like, hey, this is going to sound weird. Do you want me to bring you anything?
Mm-hmm.
He looked at me. He's like, no, thanks, man. I got it.
Did he look at you like you were short? Like
no, he knew I meant well. He gave me a running away air dap, like appreciate you, but I think he just was. I don't know. Maybe he just wasn't expecting anybody to be nice to him. No. It's like he looked at me.
Generally, they're not expecting delivery service while they're in the coach's box.
Yeah,
I guess.
You didn't have to say that, Schaefer. I'm walking back to the booth, and I was like, how stupid did that sound? What am I going to do? Just walk in the coach's booth with a coffee and be like, here you go?
What I want to do, Damon, what I want to do now is I want to find one of those Uber Eats bags, and then I'm going to leave it on your chair at the stadium against Northwestern. That's what I'm going to do. So that way, if you need to make a delivery for anybody in the coach's box, you can keep the food warm or the coffee warm or what have you.
I walked back into the press box. I'm like, what are you laughing? I was like, long story, never mind. Like, not. I'm like, that would have been pretty stupid.
Got a venti latte for Marcus.
Okay. It would have had to have been stadium coffee. Jeez.
I don't know.
Mike J, what do you make of kind of this evolution defensively, or do you think there is one, of kind of them parts is parts, the whole piece is parts thing, where they're still doing their thing schematically and shuffling in, like they're still seeing what works while they're getting results? Like, have you kind of do you think that's the case?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's part of the whole work in progress thing. I don't think they've arrived defensively. I don't think they've settled on what they are defensively. I think there's still some areas that are deficient or concerning to me. We saw that against Maryland. I thought Maryland was seeking out the side of the field that Rex Guthrie was on, and they were going to make him run fit. They were going to make him run fit as much as possible. And when he didn't run fit well, they had big plays. And that's not necessarily, he wasn't the only one, but it felt like they had a very distinct plan of when and where they were going to run the football and what direction, how they were going to make Nebraska defend it. And they basically said, like, we're going to run a very simple play over and over, and you run fit it. We'll see how often you're going to correctly run fit this. And Nebraska struggled with that. And that's going to be a thing where, again, I think the bigger issue for Nebraska's run defense is less the guys up front and more just filling those holes behind them in the second and third level. And there's some of it is just reps. Like, guys, Rex Guthrie is going to get better at this the more he plays it. Linebacker wise, that game felt concerning when I thought Vincent Shavers could be out for the rest of it, because the drop off athletically and probably instinct wise of where he is at and then what's behind him in that linebacker room, it's a little concerning. And I wanted to believe in Watson Trent. I just don't know that athletically he can play in this conference. Like, he looks like he can't run. Like, they got him in space a couple times and took advantage of it on Saturday. And I think smart teams will do that if he's on the field a lot, kind of moving forward. They're going to have to find a way, if they want to utilize him, you're going to have to find a way to mitigate that to a degree. And so, again, I think Nebraska's defense, some of it is, here's where we're weak. How do we kind of, teams are going to try to play in on this. How do we sort of defend it? What can we do differently? I do think the other thing you have to say about this defense is when their back is against the wall, they have shown up every time. Like, they step up. Like, this is not a, we get into the buzzwords all the time, but this team fights. Like, they have a ton of mental resolve. I think you can take a lot of pride if you're a Nebraska football fan that you've got a team that isn't going to quit, and they don't care what the odds say or what the feeling is, because they don't believe they're the same old Nebraska. I mean, that's probably my biggest takeaway from this game is they don't care about these past narratives. This is new Nebraska.
How often, you guys, be honest, how many times the last 7-8 years did we say, would you rather have a scenario in which the offense had the ball last or the defense had the ball last with the opportunity to get a stop? And it's just like, well, I don't know. We haven't done. And then you get into like these negative, they both got it done. The offense did what they had.
Well, they've just smashed these narratives this year. You had the Cincinnati game. You had, I like, to your point, was sort of one of these people who's like, man, a minute's a lot of time for Malik Washington if Maryland can hit on a couple throws, and I don't know what their kicker's range is. And then I'm trying to see if I can find some tweets from warm-ups of where their kicker's making their field goals from. And then Nebraska just was able to get off the field. I mean, and they survived Malik Washington making an incredible throw over Williams Winery to do it because the intentional grounding moved them just far enough back that throw didn't hurt them. You had a one-play scenario on 4th down, and they won. Nebraska's defense won. So, I think that the internal belief over there is so strong that eventually it's going to seep out externally, and people are just going to believe that this Nebraska team can get it done in the crunch time, because right now they're showing you that they can.
Dude, I think they think that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they clearly do. Like, they didn't look like a team that thought the moment was too big or, oh no, we're on the road and we haven't scored and we haven't, Emmett Johnson's ripping. As soon as Emmett Johnson ripped off that 50-yard run, it's just kind of like, okay, Nebraska, it's just like the Ja'Cory Barney thing. Now that drive didn't finish with a touchdown, but it's like every now and then there's just this play that jolts that offense back to life. And it's like, oh yeah, we are pretty good. This is the team that kind of dominated the first and the fourth quarter. They did it again. Like, that's just if they can figure out what happens in the third quarter, I think this could be a pretty good football.
So I thought it was the second quarter. Is that just me? I haven't got it yet. I asked the guys earlier, Mike J. It seems like Nebraska hasn't had the ball more than 5 minutes in any of the last 3 second quarters.
They would have on. Well, I guess the Kenneth Williams return took them down to the 10. I mean, they scored 17 points.
No, not out. I meant like Michigan State, and
Maryland.
Maryland.
But just in terms of time of possession, you're right that you had the pick six, or you had the block punt against Michigan State, which kind of messed up the time of possession on that one. You had the big.
That was the first quarter, though.
Was it?
Yeah, because then Michigan State just held onto the ball for 7 minutes.
You're right. And then you had the kickoff return with Kenneth Williams, where that messes up the time of possession as well. And so I do think
I gotta look at that.
So I think you're right. I think the third quarters have been worse, Schaefer. I do think they haven't had the ball very much in the second or third quarters the last few games.
The third quarter has been where Dylan has been statistically, I think, the worst all season.
Third?
I mean, third quarter. I mean, it was his toughest quarter, I think, against Cincinnati. He had the interception against Michigan State. He had the interception pick six against Maryland here. I think the third quarter and I don't know that there's any explainable reason for this. Yeah. It could just be, like some guys just hit better with a runner on third than others in a small sample size kind of thing. Like, sometimes stats are just stats and we don't have to make that much of it. But Nebraska has to play better in the middle of games to make the fact that they dominate the start and the finish of almost every game that they played so far stand up, and you can have more wins that way.
That is fascinating.
Yeah, they didn't dominate the start against Michigan, but that's it. Out of the ones I'm thinking.
Well, even then, you think about that first drive. If they could finish
I'm
drive.
with you. I think they actually. I'm with you, Schaefer. Okay. I think you're right.
Fair.
And then they got the immediate stop, and then you don't get the field goal, and then things kind of go bad against you at that point. But I thought they played their best football again, fourth quarter in all 3 Big Ten games, and arguably Cincinnati is maybe the one where the first quarter was the worst for Nebraska.
So
they didn't play that well there.
So, Mike J., how does Nebraska let's put the coaching talk aside, because I think it's up to us to not keep this thing going. How does Nebraska have to look in the meantime for you to not want to just naturally make a connection on level of focus, or will you not do that anyway just because it's just not your style?
I don't know. I think it's one of those obvious things that you can kind of apply it how you want, but whether it's true or not is sort of hard to determine. I mean, if they come out and they beat Minnesota, are they galvanized by the fact that it's them against the world? if they come out and they struggle against Minnesota? Is it not because Minnesota had a good game plan, but actually because they're worried that their coach is going to leave in a month and a half from now? I think it's however you want to make the argument. It's the perfect sort of storyline for however you want to bend or blend things. So I don't know that there's a lot that we can do with it. For me personally, it's not something I get super excited to discuss because there's only a few people that really can have any kind of sort of control with it. And there's still a season ahead that's going on right now. So it's a tough spot to be in, but I think that they're going to have those guys ready to play. And I also think there's a sense of personal pride, whether or not Matt Rhule is going to be the coach in 2026. You're playing for Nebraska football right now in 2025. If you don't think you're going to be here, then you're trying to put up the best that you can for the transfer portal. If you think you're going to be here, you're going to try to put up the best that you can for the next coaching staff. If you have any kind of pride as an individual, you're trying to play the best that you can because you're a competitive person playing college football. And if you aren't competitive and if you aren't playing hard, you're probably going to get hurt being out there. So I think the focus thing is easy to sort of apply after the fact. I think it's impossible to know going into it.
How do you think Nebraska, I'm just carving through Minnesota stats, getting ready, and man, they throw the ball almost 60%. 50%.
Isn't it weird? This is not like Mo Ibrahim's Minnesota.
And I
don't
know why Taylor starts over Feme either, because 7's clearly better than 1, but
well, and remember, this is one of the teams we looked at and said, well, if Nebraska is going to get beat for having a small defensive line and people ramming it down their throat, Minnesota's going to be one of them. And
I don't know. I'm going to chill with that because I saw Maryland getting 13 personnel, and I was like, why don't they do it more?
I get that. No, I get that. I'm just saying
wasn't that crazy?
The narrative from what we thought Minnesota was to what they are has dramatically flipped.
Yeah.
I walked out of that game, and I still don't know what I think of Maryland's offensive line, but there's a part of me that's like, is that offensive line for Maryland better than the one the Baltimore Ravens are going to run out there on Sunday? And then it's is it just Nebraska's
the offensive line might have been?
Yeah,
those guys were good.
Their pass protection was phenomenal, I thought, throughout the game. And then they were able to run, and I don't know how much of that was bad run fits with Nebraska and what Maryland was doing because they haven't run much on anybody all year. So I don't know if Nebraska can make Minnesota's line look the same. But Drake Lindsey is the player on this Minnesota team. I mean, he's a guy that's going to be even better going forward. He's someone that if you let him kind of sort of get hot, I guess, if you would, kind of like he's a 3-point shooter. He seems very streaky, but if you let him get hot early in that game against you, he's someone that I think has the arm talent that he could put up. Wouldn't surprise me if he throws 40 times and puts up 260 to 280 yards in this Nebraska defense. And then we're talking about, the secondary is not as good without referencing the fact that it's going to be 40 plus pass attempts.
The passing yard total for Lindsey
this is wild
is 220.
Yeah, I think that's an over. I think you just go to your they're gonna have to throw. I think that
must be what they think, because the line is now 9 and his passing yards are over 220.
No, I don't remember the Cal game because that started and then I was like, am I really watching Cal versus Minnesota?
Oh, that was a great game. What do you want to know?
Well, so how did Minnesota play in that? Because
they couldn't run the ball.
Well, and then was Cal able to just kind of sit on the pass and keep Lindsey from connecting on anything?
Yeah, because they only scored. It was 7.
They scored 13 points, right?
But I think it was only like 10-7 at the half.
Right.
And just Minnesota's inability, I think, to really get it going, because that's when I really thought Feme was, or not Feme. Yeah, I thought Feme was going to win the job because I think he rushed. He didn't have 100. He probably had like 80 yards, but it was, Turner was good. I don't think Taylor played. They just couldn't. Offensively was clunky.
Yeah.
What did Lindsey throw for? 200?
He went for 205
on
19 of 32. One touchdown, 1 pick. Feme went 16 for 85.
I don't know why he's not their starter, to be honest.
Yeah, 16 for 85. So 5.3 a tote on that one. But
I'll be I'll be very curious, what the total amount of throws Drake Lindsey makes in that game on Friday, because it's going to be higher than anything Tanner Morgan had to do or any of these other quarterbacks that they've had. Ethan Kaliakmanis, they did not have him throw as much as they're going to have Drake Lindsey throw.
Although apparently Kaliakmanis is just dealing now out in Rutgers.
Yeah,
they can't play defense.
Well, they
for him,
can score, but they can't stop anyone.
Yeah.
It's like Bizarro World in Piscataway.
It's not Kaliakmanis' fault. So just for reference, outside of the Northwestern State game where he played like 3 minutes, Lindsey has 35, 32, 41, 26, 45 passing attempts per game. 26 came against Ohio State. That's his low. So I'm guessing
and that's because they just didn't possess the ball enough for him to.
I'm guessing mid-30s is pretty safe here.
Yeah.
Chafe, who's the most complete team in college football?
I mean, the answer everyone's supposed to say is Ohio State, but it's.
I don't know. I kind of want to say. I think it's Miami.
Yeah, I think it's Miami.
Miami's good. I think Miami's legitimately good, and I don't think that highly of Carson Beck, but I think Miami's a fair answer.
Offense, defense, special teams.
There's like a part of me that, and we've got audio that proves it. I picked Indiana over Oregon. Like, is it possible that it's Indiana?
It is.
Like, are they possibly the most complete team?
It might be. It is possible.
They went into what is one of the toughest environments in all of college football, and they slowed down that Oregon team, which I didn't think was very good. I thought Oregon, Penn State, watching that, I was unimpressed by both of those teams, which is why I took Indiana. And they are legitimately.
You're smarter than me. I just took them
because
the line stunk. It was too
low.
I was like,
the line was high, and so I took that in my favor. But it was one of those very much like I wouldn't just take them against the spread. I would put money on the money line here with Indiana. And again, if you think I'm just making this up, you can. We've got audio.
I trust you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But no, I think Indiana's up there. I don't think I don't have a single SEC team that I would include in that list with Ohio State, Indiana, Miami and I haven't seen enough of Texas Tech to say. So I can't speak on the Red Raiders, but they have to be at least in the conversation of one of the 6 best teams in the country right now.
Yeah, it is in the conversation with Texas Tech. Coach McGuire telling Coach Rhule how much money they have in that NIL collection. That's the conversation that those two have. Okay? I'm just going to put that out there.
Look, that's college football right now. I mean, it's funny we do it for Texas Tech. We do it for Texas Tech, but we don't have that same conversation about Oregon and Ohio State and Miami. I mean, just because they're not
good.
Yeah, it's just.
I agree.
It's because we
they're
expect
playing the same game. They're just doing it with oil money.
Yeah, so somebody needs to find some oil here in between here and Lincoln here in a minute. That'd be great.
I think people have been trying for about 200 years, Ravi.
Keep digging. Keep on digging.
I think it's south of here.
The only thing we're finding is fossils, and that doesn't convert into the same kind of fuel.
Mammoths don't bring the same NIL money.
What about the aquifer? Can we sell some of that water?
No, it's dry. They're trying to steal water from Colorado. Our state doesn't have enough water.
Have you seen There Will Be Blood?
I have. One of the few movies I've went to twice in movie theaters. The second time was for a date, and let me tell you, not a
good date movie.
Not my choice. That was
terrible.
a double date that I got sent on, and it went exactly how I thought it was going to. And I had to sit through that movie. That's 3, and I like the movie, but it's 3 hours long.
And it is
worst date ever.
It is heavy. I just wanted to say, if we don't have any here, we could just start drinking some other people's milkshakes.
I was gonna say, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Into the milkshake line?
Absolutely. Also, one of the unintentionally funniest movies of all time.
Incredible.
It's not trying to be funny.
No, it is not. But Daniel Day-Lewis has some bangers.
Oh yeah.
Just some absolute hilarious lines. Is
this gonna get me to watch?
I don't know. I like the movie less than a lot of other people do, because I think Daniel Day-Lewis is he is trying to throw 108 on every pitch, and some of them are not finding the strike zone.
I binged Department Q from Wheels Up to Wheels Back from Bethesda, Schaefer, on Netflix. Check it out.
All right, I can do that.
Schaefer, we'll let you go. We appreciate the time, and I really hope that you don't abandon your child. That's all I have.
I'm sure that's funny, but I don't know.
I haven't thought about that movie in a long time, and I haven't thought about that date since the minute it ended. So,
so it wasn't your current life.
Okay, thanks. Okay, thanks. Bye.
See you guys.
All right. That's Mike Schaefer from Husker 24/7.
Oh,
yeah, that's one of those.
God, I got a headache.
Can I say this might be one of the hottest takes that I have?
What's that?
I don't think Daniel Day-Lewis is that good of an actor.
I haven't seen the movie.
So I mean, he's in a lot of stuff, but like he's in Gangs of New York.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Okay. Yeah. So that one especially, he is just like
Hot take.
he's dialing that thing up, and I'm like, easy, bud. Like, let's relax here. He's doing a lot.
Is he kind of do his own thing?
Yeah, he's like I think he's like a theater actor, so everything's like very over the top.
Yeah.
And he's doing too much. I was like, we have HD cameras, bud. They can get everything. You don't have to throw 110 here. We're going to be okay. Speaking of throwing 110, we're going to talk.
Is that like being a method actor?
Yeah, he is a method actor. But it's not just that. It's just like the choices that he makes. Like he's doing a lot. Like he's really going for it. There's very little subtlety to his performances. It's a lot of banging you over the head with it. I was like, all right, bud, I get it. You're an oil man. Cool. Speaking of throwing 110, we're going to talk to Steve Gardner coming up next from USA Today. A little bit of baseball coming up here. Reminder, though, you got to make sure you get out to our friends at Next Gen Male Medical. They're taking great care of me. DB is going to go see our guy here this week to make sure he gets set up with his peptides.
We'll just call it peptides.
Sir Moreland.
Him too.
Is there a Lady Moreland as well as a Sir Moreland?
Madame.
No, they help you out. They've got the things that you need to feel 100%. Make sure you go check out Next Gen Male Medical. We've got Steve Gardner coming up next.
We've invested. We have a history here of being at the forefront and investing, and I just don't want to stop that. I just want to be the absolute best at it. And so, but like just for one thing, just as we move forward, like I said, I'm not going to talk about it very often. I'm certainly not going to talk about it like with anyone other than my wife. But Julie decides where we live, so this has been an unbelievable. Her business, she loves it. It's been an unbelievable time in our lives, and I just think we can be. I think we can be a perennial top of the country, one of the best teams in the country. Now, I told our team, like, this is just part of winning. Like I tell our players, like, if you're a good player, everyone should be hitting you up to go in the portal. Do you think people are calling Ja'Cory Barney right now and saying, hey, why don't you come here and play for us? Hell yeah, they are. You know what I'm saying? Because you're winning. 2 weeks ago, I walked into the team. He'll get mad at me for saying this, but I told our team, 2 weeks ago, I walked into the team meeting before the Michigan State game, and College Game Day was on. It had College Game Day had Husker fans tired of Rhule, wish they had Signetti, fire. So now all of a sudden 2 weeks later, people like me.
We're in the neighborhood, just down the street. with a wide variety of home equity products to help you create a relaxing oasis. So you can kick back and relax in comfort. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Shot to right center field. Varsho on the run. He's at the track. He's at the wall. It's gone. It's Polanco again. Jorge Polanco is owning October for the Mariners. Grounded to third. Suarez has it to second. One to first. Two to Seattle. 2-0. Freeman, a high fly ball to right. It is deep. Back on it, Churio, and Freddie Freeman sends one out of here. A rainmaker to right field, and the Dodgers strike first.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi, Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Don't forget, it's Tuesday, so kids eat free with the purchase of an adult entree. We are joined now by Steve Gardner. Talking a little baseball here, Steve. How are we doing this morning?
Doing great. Ravi, Damon, how are you guys?
Oh, we are hanging in there. I'm a Dodgers fan, so I was quickly researching, and Steve, full disclosure, I was just telling our last guest, I was like a little kid that didn't hear correctly. I was standing about 6 inches away from my big screen while they explained to me how the 8.62 unassisted went down. And I would classify myself as a baseball guy. At 50, I have never seen that before, certainly not in the playoffs.
Nothing. And even looking through any of the baseball reference stat maven services, you can't find anything. So we witnessed history last night, and man, it was amazing, wasn't it?
Did you find yourself getting more confused with each? You thought you knew, and then they would give you a different interpretation, and then it was the bobble, and then the catch, and where it hit, and why it went. And I was like, wait a minute. I thought I had it. Maybe I don't.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what was happening to me.
Yeah, I used to love those situations, when I was actually playing sports more actively, where you have to think and you're not prepared for it. You just have to go on your instincts and everything. And I think that's what really hurt, Teoscar Hernandez, is that he knew that he had to tag up, but then the bobble, and then he starts to run, and then he starts to go back, and that little hesitation cost him the split second that he needed to make it home. And the rest of the guys were so confused. I thought it was just tremendously fun chaos, although not so much if you were a Dodgers fan.
Yeah.
Well, they still won, so it can still be fun, right?
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, no.
Steve, as you go through this Dodgers postseason so far, and you kind of look at where they're strong versus where they struggle, like, do you look at this bullpen and you say, okay, I think they've got enough to get this thing done? It wasn't that long ago that we were looking at the starters and saying, well, I don't really know what they're going to do to start the game, but if they can get to the bullpen, it'll be great. And they end up winning the World Series last year. It's sort of flip-flopped this year. How do you make out the pitching staff now?
Well, I think we've seen so far that Dave Roberts will go as far as possible with his starting pitchers because they are so good. So that's why you saw Blake Snell pitch through the 8th inning last night. Roki Sasaki has come on, and except for his little stumble there in the 9th inning, he's been excellent over the course of the postseason. So that's a plus for them. And I think could be the one factor that puts them over the top, because the bullpen clearly was their Achilles heel coming into these playoffs. And Sasaki has been able to stabilize that. And when you can put, Tyler Glass now in relief and Emmett Sheehan in relief, that's made it, if not a strength, certainly something that they can depend on when the chips are down. Blake Trinan, that was I think for all Dodger fans, that was a nail-biting moment because he's been the one guy that has given up key hits and has not been able to get the outs in the postseason, but yet he still managed to, after almost, hitting a batter and walking, plating the tying run with that.
Yeah, Tarek, if he had it to do over again, he probably doesn't move. I mean, that slider was
Absolutely.
so snappy.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the Dodgers have all the pieces in place to be back-to-back World Series champions, and now that they're going home or getting ready to go home after taking that game, they're certainly in the driver's seat.
So let me ask you something before we get to in its totality, just along the lines of this series. The narrative now surrounding this series is the big market, small market, and what happens with collective bargaining. And listen, for 50 some odd years, nobody's ever wanted a salary cap. Are you part of the contingency that thinks that the way this series goes is some declaration or referendum on the state of baseball?
Absolutely not. The owners are always going to want a salary cap. The owners are always going to want to keep labor costs down so that their profits go up. I think really all this does is maybe shape the public discussion to where, people can say, oh, well, the Dodgers won back-to-back years. Really, it's not that big of an argument because you look at baseball throughout the course of the last 20 years or so. More different teams have made the playoffs, have made the World Series than you have in sports that do have a salary cap. So, I mean, that's really a non-argument for what the core is that baseball is dealing with. And that's, how do you divide all these revenues up when the Yankees and their big local TV contracts are on one side, and then the smaller markets that have basically lost their local TV contracts and MLB is taking them over are on another side. It's not so much the unified owners against the unified players. We've got a segmented group of large market owners, small market owners, and the players. And it's hard to get all of those entities on the same page, which is why it seems almost inevitable that after next season, we're going to have some sort of a work stoppage, no matter who wins this series.
Steve, as we look to the other side of the playoffs, it sort of has started to feel like, DB mentioned this earlier, sort of started to feel like Seattle's got this team of destiny thing going on here, the way they've started moving throughout. You got the 15-inning game, and then, they win both games in Toronto. Is there, as you watch this team, do they remind you of another team in the past at all in terms of just the way they've kind of operated in the playoffs?
That's a great question. It's a team that is super strong starting pitching, maybe the best bullpen in the majors, certainly of the teams that are left.
I got a lot of versatility, man. Jeez.
Yeah, and it's a team that's clicking on all cylinders. I think, maybe back to the way the Rangers won the World Series a few years ago, where they had pitching, they had hitting, and everything was working together. Or the Red Sox a couple of years ago, even before that. The postseason is one of those things, and that's why we love it, is that no matter what goes on during the regular season, you get a guy like Jorge Polanco, who is a bit player, can we say, a role player during the regular season, who just comes alive and gets, hits at the most opportune times and becomes, a household name just from what he does over, a couple of weeks of play in October. So, yeah, I think certainly the momentum clearly on Seattle's side. But again, the Blue Jays, I believe they did sweep a series in Seattle during the regular season. So I'm not counting this as over by any means. A couple of Blue Jays wins in Seattle, and this is a team, that just destroyed the Yankees. If their bats come alive, we could still have a very interesting and maybe even a 7-game ALCS. But certainly Seattle's in the driver's seat now, going home up 2-0.
Yeah, I'd be kidding you if I told you. I understand the regular season is a lot different than postseason, clearly, especially with rotations. But
Brewers did win 6 in a row this year against the Dodgers in the regular season, so I don't think they took a game from Milwaukee. Let me ask you this: what kind of job is the Padres' job with what Schilt? I mean, Schilt retiring, and I talked about the severe toll. I'm a Dodgers guy. I always think that the Padres are overrated and overvalued, so that's just me being petty. But what kind of job with that roster should the Padres' job be? Like, what are they looking for?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they have a couple of internal candidates, and Ryan Flaherty, the former MLB player, utility guy, maybe where they start when they do their interviews. I think this is a fantastic job. I mean, you've got a lot of these players, they're star players, Xander Bogaerts and Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis, who are locked in with long-term contracts. They're going to be there, and they're going to be the cornerstones of that franchise. And they've got a great farm system, although they still lost some of that in trying to make a run this year and trading away. But I think that's a fantastic job. The fan base is amazing in San Diego. Everything you could possibly want in a managerial job, you've got there in San Diego. So I would think that would be an attractive for anybody who has managerial aspirations outside of the Padres organization would want to be included on their search list. And yeah, they have to fight with the Dodgers every year and the NL West. But I would think that is maybe the plum job that's open right now this offseason.
Better than the Rangers or Braves?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the things that I said about the Padres, you could say for Atlanta.
Although they're going to take Skip Schumacher. Rangers went with Schumacher, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'll take them.
So with Atlanta, that's a plum job too. And I think Baltimore is a pretty good job, but
was this the same Baltimore team we were lamenting over 2.5 years ago?
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
Yeah, I think in Baltimore, it's just ownership needs to step up and make some off-season moves, spend some money, because the core of that team is still very, very good. But the pitching fell apart this year, and once the pitching fell apart, the hitting couldn't sustain it. And so I think certainly Baltimore has got to be better this coming year. And, talk about great fan bases and everything. You've got that in Baltimore too.
What do you make of the resurgence? I mean, famously, I tell myself a lot here, Steve. So when Snell was signed, I was the guy that said, man, I think he's still making a living off what he did in Tampa. Like, I just haven't seen the old Snell, and all of a sudden, when it counts, he's been money. What do you make of his resurgence?
I just think, if Blake Snell can find the plate and not walk 3, 4, 5 batters a game, he's an amazing pitcher. And we've seen, it's almost been like Jekyll and Hyde for him in a lot of seasons, where he's super terrible generally in the first half and lights out in the second half. And he's just putting all of it together. I saw a stat that Blake Snell, and I forget what the cutoff is, maybe like 1,000 innings. Blake Snell has the highest career strikeout percentage, strikeouts per 9 innings, in Major League Baseball history. So, I mean, he can be extremely dominant, and he's showing that kind of excellence, certainly in the playoffs. And all you need, sometimes is somebody to be that guy to lead you through the postseason, and you're unstoppable. He's showing that he wants to be that this year.
With Kershaw wetting the bed, coming out of the bull, even though he's my favorite, Snell, Ohtani, Yamamoto, and Glasnow, it just lends itself to that high market spending because none of those guys are homegrown starters. When a couple of years ago, I was making the case that the bulk of it was homegrown. So now I'm just left fending for myself here, Steve.
Well, they do spend the money, but again, you've got the counterpoint to the Dodgers is what happened to the Mets this year. and going out and
or the
throwing all that
Phillies,
money, even more money.
Padres.
Yeah, exactly. But the Mets, the Mets didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that shows you, if you can spend, tons of money, but you got to put it together on the field. And now, as we see, Milwaukee's doing it, Seattle's doing it, and Toronto's doing it too. So they're good counterweights to the Dodgers buying their way to a championship argument.
I want to play a little word association with expectations in this big market. I say to you, Brian Cashman, and to me, you say what?
Good, but not great.
Huh.
I think he's leveraged what some of the advantages that the Yankees have, but it's still, as Aaron Boone famously, it's hard to win a World Series. But you look at what Cashman did, bringing in Cody Bellinger. That was a great move.
Yeah.
But now, he's got to rebuild. This is going to be a very interesting offseason for Cashman and the Yankees.
I tried to convince my partner over here, because he's a Red Sox fan, so it wasn't very hard, that Cashman may be one of the most overrated general managers in terms of what he's actually produced. But they do win a ton. I like the fact you said leverage. So that kind of lets him off the hook fiscally. But the roster, was it above Brett Boone's? Was it above the managerial hold him responsible pay grade?
I think there's equal blame to go around.
Gotcha.
Brett Boone made some curious managerial decisions.
The bullpen
that didn't help the Yankees. And Cashman, for all the things he did well, could have built a more balanced roster, and that sort of thing. But he made moves. He bolstered the bullpen at the trade deadline, which was huge. A huge need for them, with Devin Williams struggling as badly as he did. So I think, obviously, if you're a Yankee fan, you've got huge expectations, and every year that you don't win a World Series, the pressure builds even more and even more. And I don't know what the breaking point is, but I don't think we've reached it for the Yankee organization this offseason. So we're going to have Aaron Boone. I think he's got 2 more years left on his contract. I think we'll have Aaron Boone back. We'll have Brian Cashman back. And they'll try and do it again and say, hey, if we have Garrett Cole, then maybe we win this past year.
Steve, let me ask you, since I'm just going to. The Red Sox make the playoffs for the first time in 4 years. You think this is a springboard with some of those young players? I know, like Marcelo Meyer and Christian Campbell and Roman Anthony were all hurt towards the playoff run. But you think this is a springboard for them moving forward to kind of becoming more of a perennial playoff contender again?
I think certainly the pieces are in place. They're going to have to figure out, what to do with, with Alex Bregman. And after it was interesting how after trading away Rafael Devers, the team got better, but then in the playoffs, you really needed that.
Yeah, you have to hit home runs.
Bat.
Yeah,
exactly. And so while you did some things that seemed to push you in a positive direction, especially when those young guys that became part of the core of this team and how they got to where they were by the end of the season were not around. That shows the vulnerability there. So I think certainly things are in very good shape for Boston. And they just need to find a way to build on it, because Garrett Crochet is pretty darn good at the top of that rotation. Bayo, this team has a very bright future, I think.
That is Steve Gardner from USA Today. We're going to leave on that because that's the correct answer. So we appreciate that. Steve, enjoy the rest of the playoffs. I'm sure we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks,
Take care.
Steve. That is Steve Gardner from USA Today.
I think all these series are going to be good.
Listen, I'm rooting for Seattle.
That's fine. I like it.
I loved Griffey growing up.
Me too.
Like, there has always been a soft spot in my heart for the Mariners.
And it's a fun city.
It is. Yeah, and honestly, so like one of my core.
Don't come at me with the needles and the homeless thing. I saw the documentary. I was once there.
But shouldn't there always be a team that doesn't make it?
That's what I like about it. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I just was there 2 years ago for a speaking engagement.
So the thing that I like, one of my core sports memories is Game 5, Edgar Martinez, Griffey running around the bases. Like that's one of my early formative sports are awesome memories. And so like there's a place in my heart for Seattle. There's also
formative. That's cute.
They're also, well, listen, I'm just a young buck still. Also, one of my formative memories is remembering to go check out our friends at Centrist Federal Credit Union. They've got the financial expertise to help you out, whether you just need a little bit of debt counseling or just want to make sure you're on track for your financial goals. They've got a partnership with Green Path Financial Wellness for all their members to get the financial education they need. Go to centristfcu.org to learn more today and to become a member. Federally insured by NCUA. That's the show for today. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We will be back tomorrow here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.